do. Boom, bada boom, bada bing. Welcome to the show. I'm Lex Vortex, and you have entered the Vortex, and this is Vortex Open Mic. And I'm stronger than my pain, and perception determines your reality. As you can see from the show, got my man MIKHA'EL Ben Yashawn Yisrael. He will be joining us shortly. But welcome to the show, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the last show we did with Digital Pit Boss. That was a very fruitful show. As you know, as we always start off the show, this is Lex Vortex, aka Awesome Sauce, aka Mr. Flip Flopper, aka the Christian Mystic, aka Lex Shamir Bay, aka the Son of Man has no place to call his home. And we're back once again, and we're gonna be interviewing today MIKHA'EL Ben Yisrael, Chicago Hebrew Israelite, and we're gonna get into his mind and learn his story and get it popping. By the way, if you haven't joined Planet Vortex yet, just hit that description box and you will see a link in there to join Planet Vortex. We have our own social networking website. Make sure you hit that description box and join today. Also, download my new album, Cold Blooded Pre-Salvation. It's available for download also in the description box. Make sure you pick that up and tell me what you think. Also, we are developing the Black Amber Alert app. So we have a GoFundMe for that. Make sure that you download that app and contribute. Make sure you go to that GoFundMe and contribute to the development of that app. We've been shaking things up with innovative thoughts, bringing in revolutionary thinking, and trying to do it in the most positive manner possible. And so we're bringing on different people to get different perspectives and also to show unbiasedness and, some sense of brotherhood, unlike other people. So I believe that no matter what your ideology, there is universal truth. You know what I'm saying? And we can find the golden thread of love in all ideologies or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you, love trumps them all. Love trumps them all. So if you're watching this, make sure you share, like or unlike, do something. But I appreciate your participation. Make sure you definitely share this video that we're about to put down. Check out Planet Vortex on Facebook. Absolutely. Check out Planet Vortex on Facebook. Also, check out Vortex Television. And you can find me on Facebook at Lex Lee Vortex.com. If you'd like to be a guest on this show and you think you got some unique, innovative information to share with me, you can contact me at 617-213-0905. Also, now I'm offering advertisements. If you'd like to advertise your product on this channel for a small fee every month, you know what I'm saying? We will advertise your product. Contact me at 617-213-0905. And when we open up the lines, if you have questions for the guests, if you do, we will open up the lines. And that number also is 617-213-0905. And we will let you speak to our special guest today, MIKHA'EL Ben Yisrael. So just give me one moment here, and I'm going to introduce the brother, and we're going to get started as soon as I finish sending out my notifications. And then I'm going to turn on the camera and let you see my pretty face. So don't go nowhere. Stay tuned, because it's going to be a good one. Going to be a hot one. All right. We got MIKHA'EL Ben Israel in the building. So, brother, if you're there, won't you come on and introduce yourself to the people? Let them know where you're at, what you're about, and what you're doing. MIKHA'EL Ben Israel, peace. Welcome. You've entered the vortex.
Shalom, shalom, Lex. What's up with you, my brother?
Shalom, brother. Shalom. Nice to have you today. Good to have you here. I'm excited about the show. And, I really want to get into your mind and, what I'm saying, understand your story and your walk in your path and get your views on the community, on the world today from your perspective, from the Hebrew Israelite perspective. And we're going to really get it in to find out what's going on. So just say what's up to the people. Tell them what you're at and anything you want to plug, anything like that, my brother.
For sure. First and foremost, I like to give all honor and praise to the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in the name of his son, Jesus Christ, our Mashiach, which is our high priest. Um, yeah, I'm really, I'm flattered, brother. I'm humbled. You surprised me when you inboxed me. I forgot we was actually friends on Facebook. But I have been checking out, I still keep my eye to the community. The conscious community. I've been peeping, little things here and there. So you reached out to me, asked if I want to do an interview. I'm like, sure. And so, yeah, I like the little setup too, man. It's funny because I'm actually launching something pretty soon, hopefully about no later than the third week of next month of April. The Walls of Jericho blog site will be up. So the Walls of Jericho site, it kind of looks familiar to the setting that you have. We'll have I've had lessons on there, Sabbath day lessons. We'll have a bunch of information on there. We'll have historians on there. If you into the history, we even have brothers that that deal with the archaeological aspect of it. We'll have breaking news, hot topics. We'll discuss those. And most important, well, I won't say most importantly, but just as important, we will have some interaction, some things where my goal is to do things in the community because I feel that that's what it's all about. I don't care how much you read, how much you know. I don't care how big your library is. I don't care how much you stay in the Bible. If you're not making the knowledge, the wisdom that you have tangible, then it's really for naught. You're just reading to get smart. You know what I mean? So it has to apply in today's society, and more importantly, it has to be applied within your own household and your own community. So what we will have on there, our goal is to start doing some doing we're gonna do fundraisers, we're gonna do events, things of that nature. And we're gonna try. I was thinking one day, I was like, for all the things that people say about the Catholic Church, and I know, boy, we ain't gonna even get on that. But it's all type of stuff with them cats. I mean, everybody know this. I don't care what paradigm you come from. You know the history with them. But when I look at as wicked as they are, I look at Catholic charities, and I know people who've been jammed up in situations, all down on their luck. And every month or so, they'll go there. These people pay their rent. They'll, give them food, canned goods, and all that type of stuff. So I think it should be even more so for us to be conscious and have what we call walking in the truth. We should have these things. We shouldn't even have to go to them. And so, you know what I'm saying? So all these media outlets we've been using, Lex, we've been knowing each other. We've had our ups, downs. Everybody in the conscious community that got into it. I mean, I'm just letting everybody know that in case you don't know. And that's how some of us build whatever type of weird relationships we have. But I think it is about that time. That's why I didn't hesitate when you asked me. You know what I'm saying? That we need to put these things into action, man. If we know people, then we need to start we need to start using these utensils that we have, and we need to use them, you know what I mean, as far as we should see the works in our community for the things and the people that we know. If not, we just knowing stuff to say we know stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the Walls of Jericho will be launching in April. We will have a store there where people could come on there like what you doing. And you know, if you selling products, I don't care if it's from shea butter to rap DVDs, whatever you want to do. Shout out to my man John Boy and my boy David Israel, man. They got some hot stuff out. I'm definitely gonna hire them on there. And just everything about us, that's what I'm about. That's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna have some fundraisers. We're gonna have all that this summer. I'm still planning on doing the documentary about Chicago. And I'm just doing this community work, bro. And of course, first and foremost, you know, my whole thing is to try to change the mind of my people, man. Just based off what I've been through alone. I shouldn't be here. I mean, you know my story. You know some of my story. The people that I don't really want to make this about me. I want to make this focus. The reason I'm on here is to bring attention to the brothers and the sisters that's out here that want to see change. You know, instead of just criticizing the infrastructures that's already set up, put something out there better. And it can really be done. It can be done, you know. But from my standpoint, of course, it can't be done without the Most High involved. You know, we've been trying to do things for a long time, and we make a little noise and we shake, and then you know the whole sandcastle fall in on us. So really, that's my goal, man. That's where I'm at. And if you want me to get into a you know, a little biography or whatever, how I came into where I'm at now, you know, that's up to you. That's fine. I have no problem doing so.
Okay. Yeah, everybody, welcome, man. We got MIKHA'EL Ben Yisrael right out of Chicago, Hebrew Israelite. And we're going to get his perspective, man. If you're tuning in, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. You invented the Vortex. And yes, man, what I want to do, bro, is you know, I want to get a little nosy, man, because I know you're a brother from Chicago, and I know a little bit about your story, your early life. And a big thing that I've been running into lately is funny. I mean, I've been connecting with a lot of people from Chicago who's been reaching out to me, and the Chicago vibe is just a whole different vibe, especially with I know it being one of the most, I think, predominantly like segregated black cities, and with the gang culture there. And as you today, you know what I'm saying, coming up out of that and being a Hebrew Israelite today, acknowledging the creator, that's a big thing in terms of changing someone's life. I want to find out a little bit about your path, man, about, so what was your before you was into Hebrew Israelite, or you started trying to live righteous. I mean, was you involved in the gang culture in Chicago? If you was, tell us a little bit about it, and how you begin to wake up.
Okay. Um, yeah. Well, to be quite honest with you, you know, I coming from an outsider's view, you know, I've had the blessing from the Most High. I've had the luxury, I mean, even in my down moments, to be able to rub elbows and shoulders with people who I normally wouldn't have ran or had an opportunity to be able to come in contact with in my prior life, as I might say. And when I say that too, I don't want to make it seem as though, let me be real frank with something too. I'm not one of those brothers that came into the truth, quote unquote, and basically turned my back on everybody that I came up with. Um, I don't get into criminal activity no more. But if you was to check my file, you know, it's not something I'm proud of, but it is what it is. It made me who I am. I was young, you know, growing up in Chicago, a youth. You know, the thing is, I didn't quite fit the stereotype. I had both of my parents. I lived mainly with my father, but at certain times I lived with my mother and with my father you know, after they split or whatever. And then, you know, the first time I would say, you know, I had a little crew like everybody else. You know, you go to grammar school. I had these certain friends that I got close to, and you know, the whole quote unquote gang culture in Chicago is extremely unique. Los Angeles probably could relate to it to some degree. But I would say the uniqueness of it is the gangs in Chicago were not they not just like your regular street corner gangs, like going off streets and stuff like that. That wasn't how they was built first off. So what people have to do is you have to look at the whole history of when they even started and how they started. Like when you look at the Crips and the Bloods of LA, you see they started as community type organizations. Well, it's no different in Chicago. And actually the ones in Chicago are actually older. I was a vice lord, you know what I'm saying? I was a conservative vice lord. And I was a kid when I first got into it. And we looked up to him when we seen him, because that whole thing go back to the 50s. You know what I'm saying? Like they started in like 53 or something like that. I know you see the stuff on History Channel and all that. They was kind of off on it. I was into it for real. So from the Chiefs on up, I know a lot of these cats related to all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I was a shorty or whatever. I was in grammar school. And I say I probably was in about sixth, seventh grade. You know how it is. At first, we was just calling ourselves something, me and a couple of my friends or whatever. And when we decided to go on over there, back then you had the OGs or whatever. You always had certain brothers you would look at and you would look up to them. Like, man, them brothers cool or whatever, So one way or another, me and my couple of my best friends, one of my cousins, he deceased now. He got killed on my corner. We'll get to that. But we decided to become vice lords. You know what I'm saying? Some of us became folk hustlers. Some of us became conservative vice lords, because where we grew up at, they shared that same territory. They were allies, the folk corner hustlers, which is basically another branch of vice lord, and the conservatives. And so, I got into that in grammar school. I was 12 years old when I got quote unquote blessed, as they call it. And it's the point I was getting at. It's different there in Chicago, because it's not only what you call gangs. They're actually based off some form of a religion. Like the Vice Lords and the Blackstones, people see the symbols and stuff and, the colors and all that. But the truth is, the reason they have a 5-point star is because their religion is Moorish American. And so I didn't understand any of that when I was coming up. It just was part of the culture. And so, like I say, I became officially a real vice lord. I'm gonna get to all that, but so I was a kid, from 12 years old. And then I say when I got in 8th grade was when, I seen how serious it was. I mean, I knew how serious it was, because we would have the little brawls. They used to call us, we was the baby lords. We would fight the baby GDs and all that type of stuff. But in 8th grade, that was the first time I actually got shot. I got shot in front of the school because a fight had broke out in grammar school. And I had a fight with one of the GDs, not bragging, but I pieced him up pretty decent. And I thought I did something in front of my guys. Yeah. As soon as we got outside, he was out there waiting for us. He had some guys with us. We thinking, okay, we about to rumble. See, because back then, you would fist fight more than you would shoot. Somebody always had a gun, but you would fist fight more than you would shoot. Ain't none of that no more. I mean, they just, you might see some people fighting. They'll jump on a few cats, but everybody got guns. So, but back then, that's how we went down. And basically, I thought it was another round 2 fight, and he had something funny. I got popped in 8th grade. That was the first time I got shot. And after that, I was just in it. I didn't die from it, so I figured I had one of those little dumb minds that, hey, he didn't kill me. I must really think I'm something. So I actually, instead of me being deterred from that lifestyle, it actually made me go farther into it. Now, because now I think I'm bad because I didn't die. So I wound it up, to keep a long story short, getting shot 3 more times, 3 separate times rather. Been shot 5 times. I got shot on 3 different occasions. The first time I got shot in the hip. Second time I got shot in the buttocks. The third time I got shot in the leg. Fourth time I got shot in the neck, in the face, and then the last time, of course, is when I got That was later on, some years later, when I got shot and I got put in a wheelchair. I got shot in the back, of course, a few times, a couple times. So all through that time, from eighth grade, all those things happened. There's a lot of the dialogue and the story in between that be here all night. So that's why I'm gonna write a book on it. But it was a lot of
Hmm.
things happening in my life. So I would just put it like this: I wasn't playing around with it. I was for real with it. You know, I had respect in it. I was an outstanding member. You know, I wasn't just, like I think, doing a little flunky low level stuff. So to be honest with you, I was one of them brothers. Basically, I was taking over blocks, all type, had my own blocks and stuff like that. So I was in it to die, point blank period. I thought it was all about the nation, quote unquote, and I would die for it. Now the good thing about it, the last time I got shot when I got put in a wheelchair, that's of course when I almost died, and I actually got shot with a gun on me. So I'm letting people know, these little tough cats running around. Just because you got a pistol on you, don't mean you can't be touched. Matter of fact, I remember OG told me a long time ago, do you take a shower with your pistol? Do you sleep with your pistol? You know what I'm saying? So you can still be touched. If the Most High wants you touched, you're gonna get touched. So I actually got shot with a big old Joker revolver on me. I'm talking about, looked like the one out the old Batman movie. He had one of them on me. That's probably what got me popped. It was so long. You know what I'm saying? But that's what happened to me. So when I was in the hospital, there was a sister who stayed on my block. I won't say her name, but I thank the Most High for her. I used to, the sister used to watch us or whatever because I would protect my block. I wasn't just like gang banging, messing with people that came through or whatever because I was making money on the block too. So the thing was, you couldn't come on my block with none of that. It wasn't no shooting on my block or none of that. That was the quiet part of the set.
Hey, bro, real quick, MIKHA'EL, you sound clear, but it seems like sometimes you going low. Do you got your headset on?
No, I don't. Do it sound better now?
Yeah, yeah, it sound good now. It was going out a little bit, but you good. But I want to ask you, remember where you're at right now. But
Okay, I got.
I never been shot, but I've been shot at. And thank God, I was never hit. Um, you hear about that, man. That's some badass shit though. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell the people, I mean, what does it feel like, first of all? I know people say it feels like you're burning, but did you have any near death experiences? Did you know what I'm saying? Did you ever die and come back type stuff?
Well, I hear people say, well, I'll tell you this. When people tell you, I get to the first part. The burning part, yeah, that's not a myth. Yeah, it definitely burns. The funny thing about it, I remember one time I got shot. We were coming from swimming. It's a little area over there because I'm from the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. A lot of people call it Inglewood because they're connected. And well, it's so bad over there, they just call it Inglewood. And I'm actually from Auburn Gresham. That's like 79th Street, 76th Street by Halsted and all that. And we were coming from swimming, me and some of my homies, of course, some of the lords or whatever, as we say. And we were in war at the time with the gangster disciples or whatever. And my silly butt walking around with headphones on, which is the dumbest stuff ever you could ever do when you're in war in the hood, to walk around with headphones on. So I'm walking with headphones on. It's about 10 of us, and we walking. I was in the back of the line. So we had this little game we used to play where we would take off running. This just show you the type of humor we have. These were our games as teenagers and stuff coming up. We would take off running if somebody wasn't paying attention. You would automatically take off running because we was in war. So you figured somebody was about to start shooting or something. So I seen a couple of the brothers in front of me take off running. So I had headphones on, so I couldn't hear anything. And I could read their mouth. And I'm like, y'all ain't about to get me with that, man. I know ain't nobody behind me. So my dumb butt sitting up, bobbing my head. And I just feel something hit my leg. It felt like somebody kicked me real hard. So the earphone fell out and I hit it whizzing past my head. Whoa, I turn around. I see a dude on one side of the street running directly at me shooting. I'll never forget. He had a Glock 9mm. And then the dude on the other side of the street, he was shooting at my boys and them in front of me. He had like a tech now. I can see the long clip hanging out. So I'm, whoa. So I'll take off running, but I knew I was hitting. It hit me in the calf. So I had like a little limp. By the blessing of God, it just so happened when right where I took off running at was one of my homeboys' grandmother's house that we used to always go hang at. So I basically just fell through their front door while the bullets was hitting the front of the house or whatever. So if it wasn't for me being that close to that house, I'm pretty sure they'd shot me in the back of the head and killed me. But yes, it is true because by my adrenaline pumping, after the initial kick, it didn't really hurt. Didn't even know I was shot. I thought maybe, somebody hit me with a rock or something. Until I got in the house, and then that heat kicked in. Yeah, it felt, boy, it definitely, that's why I am so scared to go to the lake of fire. I know it's people who don't believe in that. But what I tell them is, look, if you right and I'm wrong, I have nothing to lose. I just been doing all this for nothing. But if I'm right and you wrong, I pity you. Because just the heat off that bullet was enough, enough to really, like, you don't want to feel that no more. So imagine that lake of fire. So yeah, bro, it hurts. And to answer your second part, the last time I got shot, I don't know if you want to say I died and came back, but what I do know is I was bleeding real heavy. I'll never forget it. I remember I got shot up, and well, first off, this was kind of weird. This is how I know the Most High had planned all this. And some people might think that sounds crazy or a sick way to think, but I was hard headed, and I wouldn't listen. I kept getting shot. I kept thinking doodle instinct. I was out there doing the same thing to people as they was doing to me. And the Most High evidently wanted to use me for something, but I just wasn't trying to hear it. I actually thought I couldn't die. I had got to that point. You know what I'm saying? They started calling me 9 lives and silly stuff like that. And so I remember I was getting out the car, me and 3 of my homeboys. I was getting out the car. They was coming to drop me off at the crib. And I had a big fofo, a Smith & Wesson revolver, not a semi-automatic, the long, dirty, hairy gun. I'll never forget. And I think it was a 4.4 or 4.5. I don't think they made 4.5, but I can't remember. And I remember when I got out the car, I could feel another car rider behind me. And this is what was kind of rare because it was different in Chicago than you saw like on LA. They didn't do a lot of drive-bys in Chicago. They did drop-offs. Like they would drop you off at the corner or something like that, or you would creep through an alley or something. That's why we even had a routine on the main blocks we hung on. We would make sure we had dogs in certain yards so we could hear if somebody was creeping through the alley, because we knew if the dogs barked, then that was our alarm system. So we would have security and stuff posted up on the corners. And you still kind of see them doing that today, but they're just a little more reckless with it. And so let me get back to my point. So yeah, so I heard the car pull up behind me, and I happened to look over my shoulder because I was reaching back in the passenger side to get my pistol. It was stuck up under the dashboard of my homeboy's car. So my homeboy was in the driver's seat trying to help me get it from under there, and I'm laughing. I'm like, man, how the hell did I stick it up here this far and it gets stuck? And they was like, man, you tripping. And before you know it, I turned around and I looked. And the truck, it was an old Bronco pulled up on me. I mean, they were so close to me, they could reach out and touch me. And the dude in the driver's seat had a blue bandana around his face. And the dude stood up, and the other guy stood up out the top of the sunroof. And he had a gray scarf or bandana around his face. So I knew what time it was. I already knew. And he said something like, yeah. I think his words was, yeah, we got your ass now. And I was like, damn, I just knew it was over. So all I know was I seen the fire, multiple fire. He shot about 11 times. I mean, we was 6 feet away at the most. And by the grace of the Most High, I only got hit twice. You know, the first one hit me in the top of my back, like right up under my back of my top vertebrae. And I was able to run a little bit. I may have made it from the passenger side of the seat to the trunk. And then the second one hit me in my lower back, all the way down at the bottom, like by my tailbone. That's the one that dropped my legs from under me. So all I know is I fell, and I'm laying there, and I slowly watched the truck ride off, and they rode off real slow. And my boy and them was in the car. They was laying all under the seat. The car got ripped, but none of them got hit. Only I got hit. And all I remember was I kind of blacked out, and then I woke back up. And now at this time, I remember seeing two of my homeboys standing over me, breathe, breathe. You know, they was telling me, man, breathe, Mike, breathe. And I told them, I said, hey, man, I said, hey, I can't feel my legs. No, actually, I could feel them. I said, what I said was, I said, my legs bent, straighten out my legs, because it felt like my legs were bent, but they were actually straight when I looked down. So I knew something was wrong. You know what I said? I knew something was wrong then. And my boy just had this look on his face. And I said, yeah, I must be really messed up. Because I always healed and came back from, but this one, I knew something was wrong, man. And you know, I asked my boy, man, I say, give me my pistol. And he was like, what? I said, give me my pistol. I'm telling you, give me my pistol before any of the neighbors come out the house, before the police ride up, give me my pistol. I already had to get into it, but you know what I was thinking, because I felt I was messed up. And I was like, man, I ain't about to live like this. And my boy was like, nah, man, I can't do that, bro. And I told him eye to eye. I said, if you love me, man, give me my pistol. And he was like, nah, I can't do that, bro. And so then by that time, I seen all the neighbors coming out. I seen because I got shot right in front of my house. They followed me home. That's where they was parking to drop me off. And I seen my cousin come out, and he grabbed my hand, and then it just went black from there. And the next time I woke up was like a week later in intensive care. And this where the story go funny. One of the first people I seen, of course, was my mother and my father. Then a few of my cousins and my sisters. And then they finally moved me to my room. And the first visitors I had was a sister that lived on my block, older sister. And I knew she was in something, but we didn't really talk about religion and God and all that type of stuff. But you know, she came to me and she was like, you know, we talked for a while, and I was real down. I was angry in one sense. I was you know, in another sense, I was depressed. You know, because I knew I was messed up. You know, and at this time I hadn't gotten any of the, you know, I had just numbed up, like my legs and stuff was feeling real crazy. And you know, she said to me, you know, man, you know, it's more to life than this. You know, people look up to you, because it was a bunch of people coming in and out the hospital, a bunch of my boys, and you know how that go. They was looking to do whatever for war and all that type of thing. And the detectives coming in. I was in the hospital maybe. But now I'm well. Let me finish this part. I don't want to confuse the audience. I'm letting y'all into my life too. I don't normally tell all this type of stuff, but I figured the Most High said put it out there, put it out there. So the sister was talking to me, and she asked me, did I still believe in God? Now I kind of skipped past the part, but when I told you about the Moorish American thing, right when I got shot, although I had a pistol on me, I was really at this transition period. I had started studying more into the religion aspect. I had started studying into the Moorish science, right? And that's really where I was at. So, you know, it was already certain things I didn't do. I didn't eat pork. I didn't do none of that type of stuff, because Vice Lord, it was against their law to eat pork. And so, you know, so I was really at that moment when I got shot. So now that I look Monday morning quarterback and look back at it, I see why the Most High had things happen in the time that they did. So the sister basically told me, she asked me, did I know who I was? And I said, a Vice Lord. And she was laughed. She was like, no, that ain't what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you? Like, where do you come from? And that's when she brought the whole Israelite thing to me. She put it on my mind. I mean, it struck a nerve, but I still wasn't trying to hear it. I wasn't trying to hear it for a while. And so really from that point, that's the first time that seed was planted. And it took a couple years for it to really grow. And then once I basically subscribed to that, it really wasn't no turning back after that.
Wow. Hey man, that is a serious story right there, man. And something that, I mean, hopefully a lot of these young G's out here can learn from. Um there's a lot of glory, but there can be a lot of pain. But man, you were definitely blessed to be able to come out of that and be able to give your testimony today. So I thank you for sharing that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of personal, deep stuff. And, I'm sure the listeners appreciate that. We get to live it through you. If you're listening, by the way, make sure you like the video, share and subscribe. Hit that description box, and you'll find all the other information you need. Now, after this experience, you know what I'm saying? You was introduced to the sister introduced you, planted the seed of Israelite, and you said take a couple of years. Now, what happened though? Like, let's say, all right, you go through obviously there had to be a serious transitional process. Your whole life has really changed. Did you go back? I mean, was you still like banging in the wheelchair and still rolling with the homies before? I mean, how did this transition take place from here?
Yeah, it was very gradual. It wasn't immediate. Like I said, I was a hard head dude. So even after I almost died, I didn't got crippled. You know what I mean? That wasn't enough for me because I actually became angry. You know. Now the only difference was I had a conscience because I had this Israelite different outlook on God. I had this thing in the back of my mind. And I was kind of between that and the more science deal. So I was thinking about God, but at the same time, it was still so much death and stuff happening around me. Like one year, I think I lost five of my homies at one time. It was internationally publicized. Five of my homies, they were some money makers. Let's put it like that. And I actually was supposed to be with them. I had just talked to them like 2 days prior, and nobody had heard from them. So about 3 o'clock in the morning one night, I just happened to peek up and I look at the TV and I see the news and I see my boy Truck. I'm like, oh man, that's my man Truck. For the sake of the family, I'm not gonna say their names, but everybody that know me know who I'm talking about. He's some well-known dudes too. One of them, he had one of the rankings over us. I was an outstanding member myself, but he was one of our chiefs. And when I seen his truck, I'm like, wow, man, that looks like his truck. And so, the house phone rung. This was when everybody had house phones then. I mean, if you had a cell phone, it was that big brick with the big antenna. And so, going off, my beeper going off, this to show you how old this was, beeper going off and all that type of stuff. And so, I get in the car and they was like, man, that was such and such. And I'm like, what? No, so I was broke up. So basically what happened, five of my homies went missing. And a few days later, they found one of our homies' truck. They found his truck. And in the truck, they found, mm, well, and put it like this, they found three of my homies dead and tortured. And we couldn't find the other two. So about a week later, somebody stumbled across a car that was sitting kind of odd and had a bunch of clothes piled in the back seat. And when they searched in the car, one of my homies was in the back seat, and I think the other one was in the trunk. They had been tortured too, so we knew that it was a setup. All of them got killed together. So during that time, man, I wasn't trying to. I was just like, man, look, you know, it's war. It is what it is. It was just serious, man. But
Mm.
after I think in that year alone, I lost like those five, and then we lost like two, three more homies that year because it was a real bad war in the area. And so I lost like eight homies, man, that year, close homies too. And so it was just rough for me for a couple of years. Now I had this Israelite thing in the back of my mind. But and and what's funny about it, I was even keeping the Sabbath. That's one of the first things I started doing. And it was funny because I mean I was still doing my little hustle or whatever, but I had made a vow that I wouldn't sell crack no more. And so I didn't touch no crack. But I was selling weed or whatever. And I wouldn't sell weed on Friday night. And it's funny because people had the respect for me. And they tell people, man, you better get up with him before the sun go down Friday. He ain't gonna sell you no weed. So I was so crazy. I was so crazy. I was still doing what I was doing, but I figured I was getting some cool points with God if I just at least kept the Sabbath. So that was the first thing I started doing. And man, I would say it probably took, man, a few years, bro, before I really one day I just woke up and was like, man, because the Most High was showing me so much stuff. Like it was like I could see stuff that nobody around me could see. And it just I kind of started alienating myself. Like I was still cool with my guys from the streets or whatever. But I don't know, I needed something more. And so that's when I started actually putting myself like, I think it was 95 when I first to the camp over on the southeast side of Chicago, which is the IOG. And that's who brought me into the truth. My teacher, Brother Bowie, and the other. And I used to go and I just sit in the parking lot. They would bring the speaker out there for me because I didn't like going around big crowds. So they would actually bring the speaker out a lot for me while I sat in the car and I would listen to the Sabbath day lessons, in the car with the sister who first came to the hospital and brought it to me. She would come pick me up on the Sabbath, man, and take me, and I'd just be sitting there learning the word of God in the car, whatever. So from that point on, man, I just started getting real serious, bro. And that's when I seen that my name was known so well. Not bragging, it's just the truth. Y'all can just check yourself. You'd be surprised who know me and who I know. I figured that it could be used as a tool instead of me just turning my back on them. Like I got a lot of homies, man, that was from my cloth that are Hebrew Israelites now because I couldn't just sit on that knowledge, and they saw me change certain things, and so they got interested. Like, man, if this could turn this dude, into a and turn this dude into a humble dude, it got to be something to it. So a lot of my homies they did the same thing. So a lot of my homies that's retired vice lords and stuff, they Hebrew Israelites now, and so I when I got real serious about it and I wanted to get into the community activism, I used my name that people used to remember for the gangster stuff. I used that to actually do the anti-violence thing now because people will respect me. It's way different when they know you've done these things than just somebody in a suit that's preaching, sweating bullets, and he ain't never lived this life. You know what I mean? So with the
Mhm.
young brothers, I get a totally different reaction than they would probably give to somebody who's basically philosophizing something that's better, that might better their life, but they've never lived it. And they know I lived it. All they got to do is check my file, holler at one of their uncles or something like that. And they're going to be like, yeah, man, that dude was, whatever. So they see that, they know that I'm sincere about this. I'm not doing it for no financial kickback. I'm not doing it for none of that. I just feel that I did enough damage to our community that I'm in debt with my community and with the Most High God. So I try to live my life every day, at least seeing how I can try to repair something that I did. And so that's
Absolutely. Yeah, man, that's a great story, man. And let me say this. Now everyone know I came out of the Hebrew Israelite community, and I have different, ideological and philosophical difference today. But I will always say this. As crazy as I think some of the Hebrew Israelite factions are, some of the philosophies are, if I was to choose, what I'm saying, and it was effective for me in a lot of ways too, it is definitely, what I'm saying, something that does bring order and discipline to a lot of youth and young people. It did it for me in my path. While I do differ with it now in some ways, I gotta admit that if I was to choose, what I'm saying, one of these, like, kind of, for lack of a better word, pro-black kind of religious movements, the Hebrew Israelite doctrine would be the best out of what I call the pro-blacker movements. You know what I'm saying? Because it does have rules and laws. You know what I'm saying? When we get into that other stuff, I don't think it's effective at all. So I will have to admit that. Um, Now you came out of Bowie's, brother Bowie's camp. I used to watch a lot of Bowie's videos. Now, ain't that the same camp that Israel Doctrine came out of? Did y'all know each other?
Yeah, Israel Doctrine come out the same camp. Um, I think we kind of knew of each other before this whole social media thing took off. I think we may have seen each other once because I once or twice because I remember when I first met him on Facebook because he's one of the first cats I knew that was doing shows. Before I ever started doing shows, he was doing shows. And I recognized him, but I just couldn't put a finger on where I recognized him from. And so when we did talk, he knew some areas, people that I knew and things of that nature. So yeah, we came because actually I believe he came out of the House of Jacob. I'm not sure, you would have to ask him, but the House of Jacob is basically a sister camp that derived or broke off from the IOG. It ain't like the One West thing, how he broke off because whatever reason they get into it. Now all the camps that came from the IOG are all still.
You're breaking up just a little, bro. Like, not breaking up, but I don't know if stay close to the mic. But
I think I know what it is. It's my hand on the back of the phone. Can you hear me better now?
say something again.
Me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's not a problem. Sometimes it goes like you in a hallway kind of thing, but just go on. It's cool. We can still
Okay,
hear
yeah,
you.
okay. Yeah, so for the most part, yeah, we basically came out of the same camp, basically.
Oh, okay,
And
that's what's up.
hey, but that brings up another subject, if you don't mind. I really want to get into that the whole Hebrew Israelite thing because it's a lot of misconceptions out here, man. Like what you were talking about, how crazy some of their doctrines are, and people think we all the same. We absolutely not. As far as our
You starting to go
doctrines,
in and out just a little bit again, bro. I don't know what's going on, but it's just like I don't know.
can you?
You got yeah, it's still a little airy. Do you got a headset?
Let me see something. Hold on.
So you just came back in just then.
Okay,
I want the people to hear your message.
is that better?
Yeah, sound like it.
Is
Go
that
ahead.
better?
You can stay. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I just can you hear me good and clear?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes, exceptions about the Hebrew Israelite community. You know this. It differs vastly. I mean, it's we are not all the same. And what I mean by that, we have certain key because we believe it's our culture. One of those are keeping the Torah, to whatever amount that each fraction keeps it. But we all honor all under the Ten Commandments, the first five, that's in the first five books of Moses. Um, so that's our constitution, basically, because we are a nationality, not a religion. Now, within the nationality, you can say it's religions in it, but we are a nationality, and people really get it misconstrued. All Hebrew Israelites are not the same. For example, the camp that I come out of never had anything to do with the camps that a lot of people familiar with, like the One West camps, where you got ISUPK, GOCC, IUIC, the guys you see standing on the corner, the brothers you see standing on the corner, excuse me. We did not come from that, though our history go back just as far, or if not farther. You can go back, check when you do the whole history thing, it leads you back to early 1900s to the mid 1900s and all those type of things. Like I got family, my God family, my God brother and his family, they actually were part of the group that went to the Mona Israel with Ben Amina. Now that was the kingdom of Yahweh. That's a totally different camp than where I come from. But that's how the Chicago Hebrew scene set up. You got the different fractions. Now you have the One West fractions there, like you see in New York. You got IUIC in Chicago. You got ISUPK in Chicago, and I think you got GOCC and one of them in Chicago, and a couple of other groups. I know some of these brothers personally or whatever. But for the most part, the majority of the Israelites here come out of either what you would call the more moderate Israelite camps. You know what I'm saying? Like the camps that you say, you don't see them really like on the corner screaming at people and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You had more cultural Israelites like the kingdom of Yahweh, the brothers that went over to Israel. You know what I'm saying? So that's a that's a big misconception. We are not, we did not all spawn from the same spark. Let me put it like that. And that's why the doctrines are so different.
Yeah, it's important for people to know that because and I'm just gonna say it, a lot of people get turned off by the New York Israelites. We just gotta keep it real. They are very extreme. But they're passionate, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people get turned off from, even considering, I think they kind of ruin it for a lot of other Israelite groups, because I know a lot of Israelite groups, they're not into all of the let's just kill the white man, and we're just gonna kill you if you don't listen, and the radical stuff. But isn't what isn't your camp like one of the biggest Hebrew Israelite camp? Well, I think Chicago's period has concentrated, like you know what I'm saying, in terms of the presence of what we call the Israelite groups.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I can't really speak from New York because I'm not from New York, so I can't speak for New York. My sister lived there as I was growing up, but I didn't know anything. I was too young to really know about the Israelite scene. But I stay in contact with brothers from the East Coast or whatever, and I wouldn't say it's too much different, but I will say as far as the population of what you would call conscious people, it's extremely large in Chicago. Not even counting the outside fractions, like how big the Nation of Islam presence is and the Moorish American presence, but the Hebrew Israelite presence alone, we have like literally whole damn near neighborhoods. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing to ride down the street in Chicago and see a Yahweh's health food restaurant, or you'll see something like Yeshua's, or like even the Soul Vegetarian that was owned by the brother Prince Asiel, which was one of the generals of the late Ben Amin from the king that went over to Africa. That's one of the most famous soul food joints. I mean, vegetarian restaurants. And then we got my brother with the Lighthouse Cafe. Got to get a shout out to him. Lighthouse Cafe. If y'all ever in the Shy, go to Hyde Park. You know, check out the Lighthouse Cafe. They only serve alkaline water. Real healthy food. Everything cooked from scratch is fresh. They got all the vegetarian stuff you want. They even got meat. They got the fries, gyros, Italian beefs, all type of stuff. And everything is clean. No pork, no shellfish, no shrimp. They even got the Leviticus law written in the restaurant when you go in there. And so when you in Chicago, put it like this. Like I hear people and you know, they would say things like if they from these isolated areas down south and stuff like that, they don't see too many Israelites unless they on Facebook or the internet or something. Well, I never had that problem because once I got into the community, you know, it was like they was everywhere. You know, this thing go back so far, the 60s and all that, that you know, you just bump into old Hebrews. Like shalom is so common here. I mean, even the gangbangers be walking around like, yeah, shalom, you know, so damn near everybody here know they Israelites in some type of way. You know, now whether they follow it or not, that's different. But the funny thing about it is, since we got so many Israelites here, of course you're gonna have to so-called kind of real different kind of Israelites. Let's put it like that. Everybody don't really roll with each other like that. That's probably as far as you're gonna get is a shalom and probably a 2-minute conversation. Then other than that, you know, that's how that's gonna play out.
Right. So it's fair to say you still got some gang banging Israelites out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, man. You know, that's why I gotta say this. I'm not gonna spit on nobody's camp because this is how I look at it. And people ask me this, and that's just the brutal reality that the Most High showed me. I study these scriptures in depth. And before we get off, you know I'm gonna have to go to the sword, man. That's what I'm known for. That's what I do. I ain't gonna, you know, take y'all to no sermon or nothing, but it's something that's gonna be real relevant to this conversation to let you know why I'm so passionate about seeing tangible things done in the community and not just preaching. But what I was gonna say is unfortunately, that's why when I see brothers camp banging, as we call it, you know, I made a lot of these terms too, Lex. You know that. Like you see a lot of cats out here saying super brews and stuff. I came up with that. And that ain't no secret. People can go back, check 6-7 years ago. I said super brews, just cracking a joke. And it just, now they saying it all in the UK. I had a whole brewtionary, as I call it, where I've made up stuff with brew in it. And I be seeing people doing it. It's kind of cute. I said I wasn't gonna want no credit for it, but I think I'm gonna start charging people. But the reason I came up with that term, bro, actually was out of disgust. Because I would see brothers basically, as I call it, camp banging. You know, these camps would be damn near fist fighting, you know, like basically gang banging with each other. And that is a real dangerous thing to do because you know it's nothing more strong than being indoctrinated. It's nothing more strong than to have some type of quote unquote religious, or I would say for better words, spiritual conviction, right? Because if you think the Most High is with you, you is dangerous. You dangerous alone. If you add that to it, and then you still got that thug mentality, as far as how you deal with things, and I know I got it in me a little bit, but I'm smart enough to know it's certain things I cannot do, and that's because people look up to me. So if I go out there and do something crazy, then they gonna think it's okay for them to do something crazy. And now you know it, I got blood on my hands, and I don't want to have to deal with the Most High. But when I see these brothers camp banging, bro, it really turns me off for this fact. In the Shy and other cities like this, because it ain't just exclusive to the Shy, we was out there doing this for real. People are dying over this quote unquote gang banging. So when I decided to turn over to the Most High and live as a righteous Israelite, you know, that believe in Christ, I had to leave the gang banging mentality alone. If that's the case, I could have stayed gang banging. But when I see brothers with the sword in their hand, as we call it, the Bible, and they MFer, and they, you know, we gonna cut your head off when the Most High come. I'm like, they basically still got the spirit of gang banging. You know, the prophet Isaiah said they on the corner like wild bulls caught in a net, filled with the fury of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's only in our communities. You don't see that nowhere else. People just hanging on the corner, mad as hell. And I used to think that that verse was just about the gangbangers until I got to looking. I'm like, man, some of these camps look just like this verse because they mad all the time. Not all of them. So everybody listening, I am not talking about every camp. I'm not even talking about every One West camp because I got brothers from those camps and I know they do good work. And trust me, I don't care. I don't do no sugarcoat nor brown nosing. I'm speaking truth. I know it's brothers out there because I kicked it with these brothers in person and they some of the most lovingest brothers. But then you got cats out there who are will not name, but it's a particular camp out there that you can't pay me to go kick it with them because they say some of the most obnoxious. Like, it's a good thing I'm not gangbanging no more because some of them brothers would be throwing the trunk for some of the stuff that they be saying to our people, though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, Lex. And yeah, it give us a bad name. So when I see that camp banging, and you basically, it's like you out there doing the whole Vice Lord GD or Blood and Crip thing. The only difference is you got a Bible. You know what I'm saying? I say this, and then for that to come and you bring that to Chicago, see, and I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna keep it 100. Not all the camps, but some of these camps, they do all that, you know, cussing out people and all that type of stuff. Especially, my thing is, if you there to clean up your people, why the hell you tear them down first? Because a lot of times what you just did is say filthy communications corrupt good manners. So you didn't turn really some people straight off of God. Like, if they had any skepticism about the Bible, you just confirmed it in their mind. They not even gonna want to deal with it from what you're saying. And they'll say something like, well, you know, the path is few. And, you know, they use a couple of verses straight out of context when the number one goal was to gather the lost sheep of the house of Israel, not humiliate them and turn them straight off. Yeah, you can tell them the truth. And I know Jesus said, what was that Jesus? Let me see. Well, no, I can't. No, I ain't gonna use that one because somebody gonna try to come back and flip that one back on me. But I know, like one when he say, "Have I become your enemy because I told you the truth?" I understand all that, and I know, you know, all these scriptures. I know them by heart. You know what I'm saying? You know, open rebuke is better than secret love. All those things are still supposed to be done in a certain manner. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of them, you do not see them in the hood doing it. Go look, pull up Chicago. And when you see them out there teaching on the corner, ever notice, if they in the hood, they ain't calling people bitches, excuse my Hebrew for everybody listening, but this Vortex TV is real raw. They not calling people MFers. They not saying that we gonna cut your head off. They don't say that when they in the hood. And you know why? Because I'm gonna tell you, it's a different type of cat breeded here in the shop. They ain't gonna care about no Bible if they hear you out there talking like you a straight up gangster. Y'all gonna be out there squabbling or worse. So when you see them doing that in the shop, they downtown. They downtown. Where all the Gentiles, quote unquote, white people and all the multi-ethnic people out. That's where they at doing it. They don't do that in the hood here. When you see them standing on the corner in the hood, they preaching straight to wake their people up, which is a very smart move, because they ain't gonna last long doing that here. Because I guarantee you, these cats will test to see if God got them hedges around you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's like everybody know where to do what they do and how. Speaking of that, I do want to get into some of the spiritual concepts of the Hebrew Israelite movement and some of the controversial topics. And everyone knows that I'm the crazy New Testament mystic Christian, but I believe that the message of Jesus is for all people. And I think if someone is saying it's not, then, you know, I don't believe they're correct. But a lot of Hebrew Israelites condemn all other nations Christ, they can't even come to Christ. Matter of fact, only thing they're gonna do, the only job they can have is to be slaves. And some even teach that Christ don't even love these people. You know, Christ is, he hates, they're nothing but a drop in the bucket. They use scriptures like that, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks about. He definitely can't get no salvation. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of rhetoric a lot of Hebrew Israelite camps spew. In your camp and what y'all teach, can white people come to Jesus Christ? Can Chinese people come to Jesus Christ?
Absolutely, 100,000,000%. Let me say something. See, this is something that a lot of Israelites don't like to talk about, but you got the right one today, because I ain't called Hebrews in the hood for nothing. Yeah, Hebrews into his hood. I'm gonna keep it hood. First off, for someone to be a quote unquote nationalist or a revolutionary, they should not have to fit the requirements of a group of people online trying to tell you what that means. And what I mean by that is, you don't have to be anti somebody else to be pro you. That's 100%. Yes, when Jesus Christ came, he came to the lost sheep of Israel. He said, go not in the way of the Gentile. You know what I'm saying? But what they don't tell you is that's because it was a protocol. You always got to go through Israel first because we his firstborn. And you know what's funny? Whenever they quote these scriptures like, even Israel is my firstborn or my only begotten son, right? And then they tell you, no, he's the firstborn. If the nation of Israel is the firstborn, what does that let you know? Why I just didn't say he's the only born? He's the firstborn, because that implies it would be a secondborn, a thirdborn, a fourthborn, a fifthborn. Yes, right now we are his only children. You know what I mean? But you can join onto the covenant of Israel. Yes, you can. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna let the scriptures back that up. This is something that people don't like to read. They'll try to say, oh, you trying to say the white man or the Gentile or Esau and all that. This is what I found out. Yes, I feel a certain way about wicked people and what they did to our people. See, I'm gonna keep it 100. Everybody know how I am. At the same time, what I learned is I cannot interject my own personal emotions into these scriptures, because these scriptures was here before I was here. These scriptures was here before we even messed up and got ourselves sent over here in the transatlantic slave trade, first off. So the Most High got a protocol. His protocol and his mission is bigger than your personal emotions, and that is to recover all of humanity. And it has to be done through the nation of Israel, because we are the priest nation. You see what I'm saying? And matter of fact, I'm gonna give you an example of this. I want you to hear this real close. I wish I had a reader, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. This was a decree. I would like to ask anybody, why would he say this, and who is he talking about? And before you go and say, oh, see, that stranger is the Israelites that was in idolatry, I'm in 1 Kings, man. The nation was together then. Everybody knew they was Israelites. You see what I'm saying? Everybody knew they was Israelites. So it wasn't no lost Israelites then. You know what I mean? If they got into pagan worship, they got into it all together. And when they did, somebody got killed for it. And if it spread it, then the Most High sent the army or outside nation against them to split their wig. So listen to this. I want you to hear this clip and tell me who this talking about. And it gets real specific with these scriptures. This God's objective, and this is what I noticed a long time ago. It's saying, this is 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 41. It say, moreover, concerning a stranger, listen to this clip, that is not of thy people Israel. I want y'all to hear that clear. Y'all read with me. It specifically says, let me read that again. Moreover, concerning a stranger, so he's telling you how to deal with strangers, that is not of thy people Israel. It said that is not. So that means they're not genetically an Israelite, not of thy people Israel. Listen to this. But cometh out of a far country for thy name's sake. For they shall hear of thy great name, and of thy strong hand, and of thy stretched out arm. When he shall come and pray towards this house, look, it's saying people that are not of Israel can come pray towards, which would have been our temple, the holy city, Jerusalem, and all that. So they praying to who? To our God. Because we knew they worship devils. They didn't know nothing about. If they lucked up and found out about this God, this is a decree right here. So he's saying that people that are not of Israel, when they come to pray towards this house, listen to this. Hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth to thee for, that all people of earth may know thy name, to fear thee, as do thy people Israel. So he's saying, so all the people of the earth that want to know about God, we supposed to equip them, because you got to be taught by Israel to know about God, just like the people of Israel know about God. It say, and that they may not, and that they may know that this house which I have builded is called by thy name. And here go the key part. If thy people go out to battle against their enemy, matter of fact, no, I think that's enough. I could just leave it right there. That's clear. So it lets you know right there.
Yeah.
It lets you know, it specifically say the people that are not of Israel can come pray to the Most High, and we supposed to accommodate with them. Am I going to fish for them? No, I'm going to fish for my people. But how do you think the whole earth and planet is messed up? Because the priests messed it up, and that's us. We ain't got nobody to blame but ourselves. Let me ask you something, Lex. Let me ask you something. I'm glad you brought this subject up. Okay. If you chilling in the crib, right, and somebody kick your door in and run up on you and bust you in the head with a bat, right, and knock you unconscious. When you wake up, and say you wake up and you see the guy standing there who bust you in the head with a bat, and then you see the bat laying on the ground, are you gonna get up and start kicking the bat and cussing the bat out, or is you gonna go confront the dude who was swinging the bat?
I don't know.
Well, it would be wise to confront the one that was swinging the bat, because what can a bat do? A bat is just a weapon. You're supposed to be, your problem
Right.
should be with the one who's swinging the bat. Well, the Most High is the swinger, and the nations are the bat. You know what I'm saying? Point blank, period.
Right.
They love to run to Deuteronomy 28 like all Israelites do, but they seem to not pay attention to the fact that it was the Most High who put this on us due to our disobedience. As a matter of fact,
I'm glad you said that, bro, because I make this argument all the time about the people that keep complaining about the white man, especially some of the Israelites. They say the white man is the devil. And then they say, well, we went into slavery because of the curses, and God told them that he was going to put them in slavery. That means that the white man and all these people would have been directed by God. So if you was to be mad at anyone, you'd have to be mad at your God. Is that not correct?
hey, I mean, it wouldn't be wise to do it, but yes, I mean, by that logic, the only person, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't think that would be wise, but you are absolutely right. I mean, if not God, the only other people you got to be mad at is your ancestors, because they the one that broke the covenant with them. You know what I mean? So if you want to say that, yeah. But I wanna point out another fact on this subject, because when you're dealing with Israelites, they gonna run to the scriptures because that's our weapon. You know what I mean? That's our weapon. But a lot of them like to cherry pick. So let me show you how the Most High told us that this thing was going to happen. This Proverbs chapter 29, right? And in Proverbs chapter 29, it's a real short verse and it's clear and to the point. It say, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So he told you when righteous are ruling, we'll rejoice, we'll be happy. But when the wicked rule, we're going to be in mourning. Well, the question is, how did the wicked get set up in a position to rule in the first place? Because what we don't understand is it's by the fault of our forefathers, you know what I'm saying, that we even got put in this position. Basically, the whole earth is off course. And that could be bagged up, Lex, man, right in the book, right before it, bro. I mean in the book, right before it. That was Solomon talking that. Look at his daddy, King David. This gonna be real quick, simple, whatever. Let's see how the wicked, when the wicked rule, how that thing even go. Because people like to read stuff, and I be looking at them and I say, man, they sure didn't read a couple of steps up over that, or why that happened and things of that nature. Listen to this, right? Now, Israel love to run to this scripture too. This Psalms 82. You know, you familiar with this too. Verse 6, where it say, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. You know that, right, Lex? Okay, but let me show you
Yeah,
what they don't
absolutely.
read. Okay, let me show you what they don't read. I'm finna show you why the whole planet messed up, why the ozone layer messed up, why half the damn animals going extinct, why you want to say these wicked nations is ruling the earth, and all this type of things, all because Israel messed up. Watch this. This verse 5, right up over that verse. It say, he talking about the Israelites, they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. So since we are walking in darkness, the priests, the ones he gave the oracles to teach all of humanity, the earth is out of course. So even nature messed up because Israel messed up. So how we gonna be mad at somebody else? Yeah, I ain't saying be happy, get stumped on, beat on. Defend, defend yourself. You a man, but don't try to interject the thoughts of your mind and try to make it the agenda of the Most High. He already told us, and he told us through the prophet Zechariah. I think it's Zechariah chapter 1. When y'all get a chance, y'all go read Zechariah chapter 1. It's like from verse 2 to verse 15. And he tell you, he say that he was a little displeased with our forefathers. He said, but the heathen or the nations furthered the affliction. Meaning, yeah, he was mad at us for us breaking these laws, and he sent us into captivity. He sent them on us. He said, but they furthered the affliction, meaning that they did things that he didn't even tell them to do. He said, yeah, take us into captivity, slap us up. He ain't tell them to, cut the babies out the womb and all that extra stuff they was doing. So he gonna deal with them. You cannot take the place of the Messiah and come back and try to do his work for him. You know what that's like, Lex? That's like you getting in trouble in school, right? Say you get a bad report card and you come to the crib and your mama see your report card. She like, oh yeah, your ASS is grass, right? So say she discipline you and she say, you gonna be on punishment for the next 2 weeks. So you go in there and you do this homework and you straighten these grades out and you bring them back to me and I'll let you out off punishment, right? I'll take you out your room. And while you in that room, you start figuring out these math problems where you went wrong, and you do the homework like she said, and you get it right. But instead of taking your homework back to your mama so she can let you out, you go and start drilling a hole in your bedroom wall. Now your mama gonna come in like, what the hell is you doing drilling? You're gonna free yourself, huh? But I'm the one that put you on punishment. You supposed to came to me. And what a lot of Israelites don't know what they doing, they are trying to usurp the authority of the Messiah, the main one that they claim, or the Most High, the Father. They are trying to usurp what he's done by trying to play position of savior. All you're supposed to be doing is putting your community back in order, putting them back under the law, statutes, and judgments of the Most High. You ain't supposed to be out here trying to get ready to kick off a war with basically the people that the Most High put in power, because you're gonna lose anyway. And that's another thing. I can't stand these internet revolutionaries. And I ain't even talking about it. I ain't even talking about the Hebrew Israelite community now on this one. I mean, they not exempt of it. But when I see all these quote unquote conscious community cats, they talk all this black power, this and this and that, and you need to do this and you need to do that. I am quick to check one of them brothers if I don't see them on the front line, willing to die for the same thing that they out there saying. Don't be back there trying to be Nat Turner and Marcus Garvey behind a keyboard or on YouTube when you won't get out there and put yourself in harm's way first. I think that's really some soft, cynical stuff. And it really
I don't know if you I don't know if you've seen, but you know, I've started my little campaign where I was saying Black Power is dead. They it upset a lot of people, a lot of them, I got a way of getting under people's skin, but I'm not really saying you're saying the same thing I'm saying. I just say it in a probably a more harsh way, but I think you can feel those sentiments, man. It's like that stuff is ridiculous, and God forbid you influence the mind of some youngster that's really about that, and they go do something stupid, like for instance, Mika Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Well, he wasn't a youngster, but what happened? You know what I'm saying? He did that, and now what? What is it? Did you take care of his family? They don't honor him. They ain't got a holiday for him. So you be surprised how impressionable some people's minds are. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, some of these Chicago gangbangers, right? Or whatever, gangbangers anywhere. They're frustrated already. You know what I'm saying? Then you come telling them, hey, the reason why you living like this is because the white man's the devil, and we got to bang on it. And they already banging. So it won't be nothing for them one day to say, you know what? I'm going to bang on that beast.
Right. Right.
And they go do something. And I mean, that would be better for them probably. At least they ain't banging on their own people. But either way, you done destroyed a life. It's dangerous, wouldn't you say?
Well, you gotta, yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, you gotta take responsibility. Like, can you hear me clear? I hope I ain't fading out because I'm moving around. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, look, let me say this. I like to say this. You know how they say with great power comes great responsibility. Well, as a priest, as an Hebrew Israelite, with this great priesthood comes great responsibility. Whatever you put out there, somebody is going to take that literal. Like I love the I believe it's Matthew or Mark chapter 25 24, where Jesus talk about the parable of the sowing of seeds. He talked about how he threw his seeds down and landed on stony ground, and birds came and swooped them up. But if you ever pay attention to that parable, it's telling you that when you go look at it close, it basically telling you 3 out of 4 people ain't gonna get what you saying, but that 1 out of those 4 is gonna get it. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna throw them seeds down, and the birds gonna scoop it up, or somebody gonna come up with some super, revolutionary, whatever, man, put that Bible down. So they the birds that just swooped you up. They swooped up the seeds before they can land in the soil and grow up some trees. But one of them gonna land and one of them gonna grow. That's who you need to focus on. So yeah, man, when cats is doing that, but you got to do me a favor and you got to forgive me. My eye has been to the news, but I've been looking more internationally because I'm looking at this UN and these the European common market, and things like Britain dropping up out of BRICS, dropping up out of the union over there, because I know prophecy, and I'm looking at these type of things. But who was the Mika Johnson thing? Because I keep hearing his name. What did the brother do? Y'all forgive me for being ignorant, but I keep hearing the name.
That's the brother that shot them 12 cops, remember? And then they killed them with a drone, and then they connected them to, like they showed pictures of them with like Professor Griff and stuff. And then you don't remember that whole fiasco when the dude, I think that was in where was that at? It was somewhere in like St. Louis or Baltimore, something like that. You don't remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember it was a hot topic for a second. I never really got into it.
Yeah, they I think he shot like what 12 cops and killed 2 or something like that, and then he was like on the roof, and they sent the drone in there and killed the brother. in Texas or whatever. Allegedly, yeah, you're right. Whoever said that allegedly shot 12 cops and killed two. I'm gonna say that allegedly. So,
You got to.
um, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, this is what I'm talking about, how dangerous that is. Let's just say the brother was working off righteous indignation, even. I don't know what it is. But the Black Power movement, I don't even hear him mention their name. Wouldn't he be one of their heroes? Wouldn't he be a martyr? This is how you know these cats ain't serious. That's why I say it's dead. The person who put in the real work that y'all talk about banging on that beast, when you turn on their shows, they ain't no picture of him up. They
Uh,
ain't made a holiday. They ain't had a memorial.
uh.
They ain't did nothing.
See,
They don't even mention Sandra Bland. I mentioned Sandra Bland more than these cats. They
see.
forgot about her. Where's the memorial? Why don't you always talking about, they always, praising their, the white people praise their own people and put all these heroes. You don't even make martyrs out of those who have been slain. You know what I'm saying? Or put it a so-called banged on the beast. That whole movement is dead. It's whack. It's unfruitful, and that's why I bang on it. And it's not like I'm not about my people, but I'm saying we got to get away from that mentality of love for self does not mean hate for no one else, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to be right too. That's my thing. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be like want justice for yourself and not for the other people. And that's even according to the Bible. That's why it says, judge not, lest you be judged by the same measure. So that even goes for white people. So if a little white kid gets shot by the police, you got to stand up for that too, according to my understanding of what justice is. It has to be, you don't kill no children. Our children more so, seemingly more so because of the news, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And that's what I thought the Bible was about. But if I'm wrong, you can tell me that I'm wrong.
Man, look. I mean, it's no secret. Like when I read that earlier, that when the wicked rule, the people mourn. Man, I I hate I hate evil. That's what you're supposed to hate, evil. And if somebody's gonna say, well, look at the history. The white man is evil. This is what I can say. I'm not gonna look. I'm one of them cats. I have to be real careful because I'm one of them cats. I am so fair with it. Like I got friends that's Gentiles, quote unquote. The brothers from the one West will say Esau. You know what I'm saying? Um, I got friends that are quote unquote of the Caucasian persuasion. And when I see them, we joke about stuff because they say I'm kind of a radical, but they know how I am. For example, what I mean by that is, okay, I was looking at something today. Uh, if anybody know me, know one of my biggest things is I'm reaching out to my people all on the four winds or the four corners where they've been scattered, whom I believe to be the Israelites. And so I'm in contact with brothers and sisters, mainly brothers from the Igbo tribe over in Nigeria, and we recognize them as being Israelites. Of course, all Igbos don't subscribe to being Israelites. It's just like because the scripture said Israel will be blind in part. We got this fake assumption over here living in the States. Once we find out we Israelites, find out what tribes in Africa Israelites, we think automatically all them claim Israelite. No, they don't. The Igbo tribe ain't like some little clique on the corner. It's millions of them. They don't all subscribe to the same thing. Now, when you talk to most of them, they'll all say that they've heard that they're Israelites. All of them just don't believe it. So let's get to my point. So I communicate with some Igbos. I communicate with some Ashantis of Ghana and some Igbos in Nigeria. And a brother, man, sent me something, man, it really disturbed me. I don't know if you was watching the news yesterday and today, but they just declared certain countries crisis states. I believe it was Nigeria, South Sudan, and Somalia. And they saying basically at this rate, them people gonna starve to death in a couple of months, right? Um, So one of the Ebu brothers hit me up, man, and he was sending me all these pictures, man. It just broke my heart because I didn't have anything I could send him or help him. And it's one thing to pray for somebody and tell them I'll pray for you. But praying for you ain't the same as praying for you and sending some help over there. You know what I mean? I'm all about this, man. I got to read this, Lex. Since we was talking about who the real Christ is. If you want to be a revolutionary, if you want to be about your people, then do this. Because this is actually a requirement, or you in some trouble. I'm gonna skip and through it real fast. But where y'all can go back and read on y'all own due to time constraints. This Matthew chapter 25, man, and this verse 21. This is what it say. It say, his Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. So that's the first.
You went out, bro. You there? Your mic's cutting out, bro. You left off at joy of the Lord.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I heard you. Read that again from joy of the Lord.
Okay. 1 sec. My phone acting crazy. Somebody tried to call me, and it. Can you hear me?
By the way, this is a good time for me to take a little quick commercial break. If you're tuning in, make sure you like this video. Make sure you share it if you enjoy it. Peace to the Hebrew Israelite nation. We have MIKHA'EL ben Yashan Yisrael. The brother shared an inspiring story about his life in Chicago, starting from a young youth. They got involved in gangs, experienced a lot of things, got shot up, and then ended up changing his life and part of the Israel of God in Chicago. And he gave us some inspiring words and stories and gave us a different perspective on what we call the Hebrew Israelites that you might not hear all the time. For some of you to just see the videos of the brothers screaming on the corners and being extreme, MIKHA'EL definitely gave us a different outlook on, you know what I'm saying, other Israelites. So the Israelite groups are not all the same for those who didn't know. And this brother shared some wisdom with us according to his faith and belief. Make sure you hit that description box and sign up to our social networking site, Planet Vortex. There's a link in the description box. At Facebook, pretty much you can do on our website, except get followed by the FBI. So it's free and open. You can create groups. You can create a Hebrew Israelite group. You can create a Moorish group. You can create a group of weirdos. So, you know, whatever you want to do, that social networking site is open. Make sure you also download my new album, Cold Blooded Pre-Salvation, if you want to hear some hot lyrics and rhymes. Donate to the mobile app we're developing. Our own so-called Black Amber Alert that we're developing. There's a GoFundMe link in that. For what we want to do, we found out it costs a little bit more money to get it right and to do it right. It's going to be an app where you can put out an Amber Alert for your child, or, you know, if there's a missing child, and everybody with the app will get the alert. You'll also be able to track your child, all right, connect it to your phone, and your child will also be able to hit a button on this application that lets you know they're in trouble and show you where they are, and it will alert the authorities. That's what we found out after talking to the developers. So a child can alert you, and if you don't respond in a certain amount of time, the app will alert the authorities. And so that's going to cost a little bit more money. Somebody gave us some outrageous quotes, but we said, you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it is going to cost a little bit of money. So there's a GoFundMe app in there, um, to support that. Also, check out Planet Vortex on Facebook and Vortex Television on Facebook. And you also know I got the other page, Vortex Unplugged. This is Lex Vortex. Welcome to the show. I appreciate everybody coming in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. MIKHA'EL, you back yet? I think the brother's having some issues with his mic and his phone right now. But if anybody has anything to say, um, you're welcome to call in at 617-213-0905. Also, if you want to advertise a product on Vortex Unplugged, you can reach me at lexvortex@gmail.com or call me at 617-213-0905, and we will work out something where we will advertise your product every show we do for 30 days. All right. So any of y'all interested in that, just make sure you hit me up and hit that description box for all of your options. Everyone knows I came out of the Hebrew Israelite community. Today I am what I like to call a Christian mystic. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in the spirit world. I believe in the war against good and evil. I believe that there are demonic forces that are controlling the world, pitting people against each other. You know what I'm saying? And I believe all mankind is one, and that we all are being tricked by these demonic forces, black, white, red, yellow, green, whatever you want to call it. These people at the top, it's not about race. They are being controlled by demonic forces, and the so-called white race is only a proxy. But they are black devils, white devils, Chinese devils. They are devils in every nation. All is love. That's what the Messiah ultimately came preaching. And it sounds so corny, but that is the ultimate answer. All of your other answers, it sounds so corny. I remember they had a song called Love is the Answer. Marvin Gaye sung about it. A lot of people sung about it. Michael Jackson sung about it. All the great ones sung about it. All the highest forms of spirituality tell you that, and the truth is, the problem with all of this is the lack of love. When you talk about white supremacy and all of that, what is the problem? They don't love black people. When you talk about white hate, what's the problem? Black people don't love white people. When you talk about all these people starving and people not sharing resources and wars, what does it stem from? They don't love the next fellow human being because they see themselves as separate. I believe there's a demonic force behind that. We are all one. We've been proven to be genetically the same. There's only one race. God is not a racist. The creator is the highest vibration of love. Once you understand that, you can see through the lies. The creator is the highest vibration of love. So I don't know. I think MIKHA'EL, you back yet, brother?
Yeah, I'm back.
Fell out for a second. You was reading the scripture saying that this was a requirement before you left.
Yeah, I apologize to the listening audience. I got a phone call, one of my ox called, but that's kind of funny, man. Like I used to hate when I do my shows, man, and it's like people see you live. I'm getting all the inboxes, but don't call the phone. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I mean, if I'm with a laptop or the phone or whatever. And then what killed me is when they call the phone and then ask you, man, I see you on the show. Then why would you call the phone? But man, them are people, man. They wired kind of different. But yeah. So yeah. While I was reading, man, I was reading Matthew chapter 25, and I'm gonna go and get right back to it because I want y'all to hear it. This is not just, the church has conditioned people to look at this as just either some romantic poetry type book or it's just some straight religious dogma. When the truth is, if you followed these things, we would see the results of it throughout our community, and then it would change the world as a whole. So I'm gonna go to verse 23. It said, his Lord said, it's a parable. It said, his Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. So, them the words I want to hear when I see the Mashiach, when I see Jesus Christ, or whatever y'all call him, Yahshua HaMashiach, Yahweh Shah. When I see that brother, when I see that king, when I see the high priest, when I see the arm of the Father, when I see the word, the voice of the Father, the word manifested into a living entity, when I see him, I want him to say that to me, good and faithful servant. And then he say, I'm gonna be a ruler over many things. So I can't take this kingdom by force. I got a kingdom that was promised to me and all the people that I bring into it. And then I want to go to this part because this is the key part. This is how you show if you're doing the work of the Most High. Yeah, it's important to teach. Yeah, it's important to enlighten and feed the mind. But once you get beyond that, it's a whole body and a person there too. And so you got to deal with that as well. And I'm going to say this little short thing. It says, I'm going to start from verse 40. It's saying, the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me. So this is Christ talking. It say, then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. Why is he telling these cats to get up out his face? You going to the lake of fire? These the main people that say, hey, you know, I help people, I do this, I do that. But do they really though? Do they do it out the sincerity of their heart, or are they just talking? Like real talk. Like, you know how you see the prosperity preachers and stuff? They get these little donations, and every now and then they'll do like a food drive or something like that to try to make up for all the dirt that they've done. They not doing that out of righteousness. You know, for example, Lex, if me and you going to the store or something one day, and between us, say we only got $30 on us combined, and we come across a brother or a sister that's out there hungry, and they specifically say, could you just buy me something to eat? We supposed to split our money and get that man half, at least, because we know we gonna get our money back. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to feed that man. That is a commandment. Listen to this, bro. This is the work of the Most High that I care about. Now, if you think this soft, then you are an indignant idiot, and you definitely don't need to be on my squad. So I'm gonna say this. It say, for I was a hunger, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and ye visited me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee in hunger, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? So, you know, they ask me like, man, Lord, you know, Christ, when was you in these positions and we didn't do that for you? You know, we don't remember you being in these positions, and especially we don't remember, and we wasn't there to help you. And he say, then shall he answer them, saying, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into the everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. So he's saying, don't be talking about how much you love me and how much you would have did for me. He said, if you don't do this to the least of your brother or your sister, that bum on the street, if you got it and you can do it and you don't do it, he don't want to hear it. He don't want to hear none of that you got to say. And I know even some of them brothers that y'all see out there that y'all think kind of radical, a lot of them do this. Even a lot of them do. That's why I say they serve their purpose, just like they probably feel we serve our purpose. But a lot of these cats don't do none of this. They just on the internet preaching, showing how much they know, how many scriptures they know. They want to show how they cut somebody, but they ain't doing nothing to make the community a better place. And I'm telling you, the Most High and Christ is going to say, get up out my face, dude. I ain't never knew you. That's what I'm about, Lex.
Yeah, and that's the true religion and purpose. I even believe for people who don't claim anything, maybe they never even
Right.
heard of a Bible or Quran or whatever it is. If they're doing those things, then they are fulfilling the will of Christ. That's what I personally believe. So You know what I mean? You have people in the community making fun. That's what I call poverty shaming people. Like I tell people about my experience of being homeless and those type of things. You have people using that as a talking point. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. You got people making fun of people for not having a lot of money, and you got other people acting like they're more important or they mean something because they're extracting funds from the people and they're showing off their toys to the people. Look what I got. This, like they're chosen by God because they got a new laptop or a new car or something like that. And this is the ultimate type wickedness, I think. Um, I don't think it's ever a time to actually use somebody's misfortune, you know what I'm saying, the way people do, especially on YouTube, as something to use as a talking point. Like, and people, we devalue people now. You know what I'm saying? Like I hear, you know what I'm saying, I had to talk to a brother earlier talking about who's relevant, as if there's any human alive that's not relevant for whatever reason. Even the bum on the so-called bum, I don't like that term because I've been out there, you know what I'm saying? But even a so-called homeless person on the corner, they're not irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? This is a being that was created by the creator that has a divine spirit in them, whether they know it or not. So, all those little things, man, we filled with a lot of ego. And sometimes people that cling on to religions, this is how they turn people off from God. You know what I'm saying? Because of their ego and them acting above people and gloating in materialism, you turn people off from God. Then leading to that, this is my next question. You know what I'm saying? As we wind down, MIKHA'EL, I mean, have you noticed the heightened, and I hate to say it, among our people, among the conscious people, they hate that Bible and God, man.
Woo!
They hate it, bro. They hate God. They don't. They you better not say the name Jesus around them. That it's really the RBG comedic group. You know what I'm saying? And not just them, just the Black Power people in general. They keep saying that, that God, not even just the Bible, the whole concept of God is white, almost like we don't believe in this spook God, and we worship nature. They're talking to the ancestors, which are nothing but demons. I already revealed that to people. They're witches and warlocks. If you're talking to ancestors, you're talking to demons, because when somebody dies, they go back to the ground and the spirit returns
Yeah.
to the one who gave it. And people argue with me. Some people got upset when I said, I got some friends that do that stuff, and they say, "Oh, you're bugging, Lex. I talk to my ancestors all the time." Oh, really? Club acting like your grandmother. So, what's up with that, man? I mean, this Black Power junk. They hate the creator. They think they came from monkeys, and you know, it's not even cool to be so-called Black Power. Like you can't be about blackness unless you reject. You got to reject God, reject the white man's Bible, and get back to worshiping the sun, moon, and the stars in the air. What's up with that, bro?
Woo! Well, you definitely bringing up the right subjects if you want to get my alternator going. Um, I want to make sure you can hear me clear because I want to make sure the audience can hear me clear. Because what I'm about to say is gonna ring some bells. Um, okay, let me say this because I know we going out. This is the last quarter of the show. And what you named were absolutely right. I think you find that like Ecclesiastes chapter 9, 5 through 7. It tell you the dead knoweth not a thing. It say a dead dog is, I mean, a sleeping dog is better than a dead lion. Like the dead, basically the living know when they gonna die, but the dead know not a thing, for his memories have passed. The memory of them have passed. Meaning when they die, they sleep. They ain't around here shaking no chains, chasing you around or something. Like you said, if you, and you're not all the way, you're not really too far off. If you see something, like I was just live, I think that was yesterday, telling somebody this. You seen something. I'm not telling you you crazy. It's just like I was listening to our old show. When we was on the show together, I think we was on Team Osiris show with Kansu now. And me and you was on that panel. And I think Ngozi was teaching. And I got on there. You did a breakdown of your understanding of the spiritual realm. And then I came right behind you. And I made some boo-boos on there too, y'all, because I remember I was in the restaurant in the jerk chicken joint when I was talking on the phone on the show. And I was talking about when Saul had conjured up Samuel's spirit. You know what I'm saying? Well, he thought was Samuel's spirit. If anybody got understanding the scriptures, that was the whole abomination of it. It wasn't Samuel. You know what I mean? That's why the Most High put it in the laws and the Torah. Don't go dealing with nobody with no familiar spirit or no psychics or people calling up the dead, because that ain't them. You calling up some dark spirits, you know, some wicked stuff. And like you said, they've been around all your life. They don't age. So they know when you did stuff at the age 6 and 7, and they can mock that. They can imitate that. They know your whole life. They've been around. So, you know what killed me about these conscious cats? I'm gonna say two things. For those who not familiar with me, you know, you might see some memes or some stuff like that. You know, I haven't really been on YouTube too much like I used to. I'm about to come back out the bag though. I'm digging up some old channels, gonna pull them back out. I had some private ones that ain't really got no views on them, but I still had switched videos over there. Y'all might know me from off Global Media too, off Global Media. But I'm about to take the Hebrews in the Hood to a whole nother level. Of course, remember y'all be on the lookout for the Walls of Jericho. Should be touching down next month. And also, it's people though that might remember me from other things. I was part of the Hebrew War Machine. We was doing the whole Kemet thing and all that. Also, I was on a show one time, been on a lot of shows. I was on Polite Show, the New Covenant Radio. They hurry up and snatch that down. It ain't on there no more. But unfortunately, a lot of people heard that show. And I know you know what I'm talking about, Lex. So when people see me sometimes, they say, "Is you the MIKHA'EL from Chicago?" Because, you know, it's two of us, me and MIKHA'EL Evers, Michael Evers. Shalom to that brother, too. And they would say, "Man, you the one that told Polite he can't come back to Chicago?" I said, "Yeah." I didn't say it like I was telling him he can't. The whole reason I said it was because I despise people who take advantage of people who trust in them. You know, whole theology aside, whole philosophy aside, whole, you know, whatever your concept, our different contrasting concepts, all of that aside. At the end of the day, if you taking advantage of people who trusting in you, hell yeah, I'm gonna check you when I get a chance to. So that was my chance on his show live. You know, I buttered him up like he do everybody else, talked all nice to him. Then I knew he couldn't mute me or kick me off, so I went straight in and said, "Hey man, you know what you got going on? You know, you stealing money from I know a cat, you know, through word of mouth, barbershop talk, you know how it is. You kind of know people gonna know people that know people. And these some serious cats you done stole thousands of dollars from on a scam." And I'm like, word is, you know, you can't come back to Illinois or Indiana. And of course, on the show, he got upset and said, well, brother, maybe you can help me with that. What the hell you mean I can help you with that? See, he's smart. He tried to put it on me to make it seem as though I got something to do with it. No, I can't tell nobody to stand down. I'm just telling you what I heard. So you can't incriminate me. But I'm telling, that was my nice way of telling him, because I knew it wasn't no other way I could get in contact with him. You need to go straighten up the bridges that you burn, because I don't want to see nothing happen to the brother. You know, but he's no different than a lot of these other conscious community dudes. Is no different than the Creflo Dollars and the TD Jakes and all these people they want to talk about that got people up in the church like dummy bags, you know, taking all their little rent money and they, you know, riding around doing what they doing. See, look, I am a rewarder of those that do good. I love to see my people doing good. I love to see them balling out of control. I know ballers, righteous ballers, but I know the Most High bless them because I see the fruit that they bear. So the Most High bless them. But people don't seem to understand. Satan can bless you too. The Most High ain't the only power out here. He told Satan, you got this time to rule this joint. Everything got to come through him. But in the end of the day, yeah, Satan is all up in the mix. So it ain't no gray area. Ain't no purgatory. You either on the red or the blue. You either on the cold or the hot. That's why the Lord said, he'd rather you be hot or cold, not lukewarm. He'd spew you out. So I said that to that brother and got a lot of hate mail and all type of stuff. How you gonna tell him? I said, okay, well, look, damn what y'all saying. I'm trying to tell you, when you wind up being the victim, don't say, didn't nobody tell you so? And the funny thing about it, I ain't gonna say no names. I wind up seeing a YouTube video with some of the same people that tried to address me for checking him and embarrassing him on his show. I seen these same people later talking about he stole from them. Huh, ain't that something? So what I got to say about them is, look, I got comedic cats that I'm cool with, and the rules still apply to them. I might think they're a little crazy for what they believe in, like they may believe in me, but we have a mutual respect for one another. You know why? Because I see the stuff that they do in the community, or I see the stuff that even they social programs and stuff that they even got online. So I see where they focus at. So for that, I try to pay attention to our commonalities and not our differences. Now, on the other hand, on the flip side, you got these people from the conscious community who talk as though they will make you to believe that they're so much better to leave God alone. It's so much better to leave the Bible alone. And like LEXX said, it don't even got to be the Bible. They don't want you dealing with no spiritual book because they look at that as either a sign of weakness or a sign of laziness, that you waiting on something to drop out the sky. But these same people, like you said, will go around and tell you they've been talking to the ancestors. Now, my first question be, and I remember I asked the brother this, and this is a brother that people really look up to and think he's so wise, but I stumped him with the most simplest stuff. I said, brother, so you say you talk to your ancestors, right? And he said, I sure do. And I said, I have a question for you. I said, what language was you talking to them in? Because first off, them Africans wasn't speaking English. And your ancestors, half of them you say you talking to, English didn't even exist if you want to go back far. So I asked them, when you was talking to them, do you know Swahili or whatever other language, or do you have a translator with you when you talking to your ancestors? And they thought I was playing with their intelligence, but this is how silly they sound. But you gonna trip off me for believing I'm talking to a supreme entity who created all the languages. But you talking to somebody that couldn't even more than likely read or write. But you talking to them in a totally foreign language. But you gonna say we the spooks. And then you got some of these same people that tell you to get rid of that white man's Bible with just simple historical research. Let you know a white man didn't write nothing in the Bible. Nothing. Yeah, you got different translations out there. And then the people who translate them is questionable what ethnicity they is. The whole point is the original text we knew was written by the Aboriginal people at that time, which would have been quote unquote Northeast Africans, since they love Africa so much. That's what they would have been called. I don't know if anybody ever checked, but before the British built the Suez canals, the land of Israel, or Canaan, is connected to Asia and Northeast Africa. The Most High strategically placed it between the three continents for world trade reasons, and it is the heartbeat of the earth, and a lot of other things I can get deep into that I'm not going to get deep into, but I can prove it. It's a reason that ever since we've been born, we've heard the term peace in the Middle East. It ain't going to be none. It ain't never been none. It ain't gonna be none till the Mashiach return and till the rightful inhabitants go back to that land, which is us. So when they sit up and say these things, I'm about to wrap it up, about the Bible being a white man's book, and then they turn right around and start quoting Wallace Budge and start quoting all of these so-called people who translated the Metal Netta and the Rosetta Stone and Champollion and all these type of things. You go look at them and go see what color they are. Ain't none of them black. Ain't none of them black. So they doing the exact same thing that they accuse us of doing when we actually not doing it. They're actually doing it. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna keep it 100. I've been convinced, and I'm putting out a disclaimer. This is not a shot at all people who have a different perspective and believe either in the comedic science or the Pan-Africanism. I have no problem with you. You know, like I said, long as you being productive and your goal is to really help your people and you just don't hate God, you know. But the one thing I notice is y'all got to really go back and look. When did that whole comedic interjection into the quote unquote conscious curriculum as far as in the hood, when did it get interjected? Because I'm going to tell you, it's real ironic around that time, all the Black Power groups was rising up. You know, the Hebrew Israelites always been around, you know, contrary to popular belief. Lex, I know you know this. They had their hand in a lot of things to do, even going back Nation of Islam, Moors, all that type of stuff. But when these black militant groups rose up, then you had this conscious stuff, this so-called chemetic science start sneaking up in there. Y'all don't think that was just one of the tools? See, y'all look at it on the outside and say, but why would they do that when it's showing that Egypt is black and all that, da, 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 da. Look, it is no avoiding that the ancient Egyptians was black because the artifacts are there. But that's only taking you so far. When you look on a world scale, Egypt don't hold no type of political, global, social importance. But you know who does? Israel. Ain't nobody thinking about Egypt. The Arabs invaded that around what, 300 to 600 AD, and they ain't went nowhere since. Don't nobody want it. They have not been an empire since then. It's just a bunch of statues. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. And they got your quote unquote ancestors over there mummified, molesting them. You know what I'm saying? It has no political, social power. But Israel, the so-called little state of Israel, which we know is just a little part of the larger mass of what really ancient Israel was, that land has been fought over, and that land actually determines what's going to happen on the globe. And the nations know this. So if you got a people that's been deprived, beat on, spit on, told they was nothing, if they wake up and find out that they actually have historical connection to that land, that they actually the rightful inhabitants of that land, that will have a global ramification, not if you came from Egypt. So that's what I'm gonna say. That whole people that's on that mission to just go against the Bible. Look, you can have your thoughts about Egypt's greatness because it was a great place. We was there. It was great. But you can do that and not down the Bible and not down the Hebrews, not down God. You know what I'm saying? But when you do that and that's your mission, the only thing I can say is you working for the devil. And if you want to say the devil is the white man, then you still working for the devil, which I don't agree with that. But if you saying that, then you still working from the devil because that's who came up with the whole Egyptology system. So it's a two-edged sword. So every time they pull that nonsense, man, like my brothers say, let them fall on their own sword.
Yes, indeed. Egypt was a wicked, wicked place. I don't care if you don't like it. Comedics. I studied. I was in Egypt. Was a bunch of sex freaks, a bunch of black magicians. If you walk in them, that's why you people go in them temples. You notice they all come out crazy because those are black magic spells on that wall. I'm just tell y'all the real. There's porno. That's porno on them damn walls. Go look up the erotica papyrus.
Yeah.
All you people in Egypt, you need Jesus. That Egyptian stuff is them people were dark and they were hybrids. Those pharaohs were half fallen angel hybrids. They come from the same bloodline as them Europeans you talk about. And they just had melanin. They was a wicked people. Yeah, did they build great temples? That's because they had great dark occult demonic wisdom. I'm gonna just tell you what it was. They're a bunch of sex. That's why these people, when they commit, they're sexually immoral. They don't have anything. They never talk about any type of sexual morality. And they don't even, you know what I'm saying? They talk about ma'at. That shit is some old dead shit. When you gotta go say that in the afterlife, and then you want to talk about spookism. They try to act like that stuff was science. No, them weirdos believed in that stuff. That they was gonna meet the half alligator, half dragon, and get thrown to all that stupid shit. You go study the story of the people who invaded Tutankhamun's tomb. They read on that on the damn when they went in there. When they deciphered that shit, so called, it said you was gonna die for entering in that shit, and all of them died that entered Tutankhamun's tomb. One nigga had his damn bird ate by a damn snake in the middle of the day, nowhere. Go read the story, the curse of Tutankhamun's tomb. There was a bunch of black magicians. Yeah, black. So I just want to add that, I gotta get under people's skin. You know how we do in the vortex. That Egyptian stuff is garbage. This don't take away from the fact that they might have had some great mathematics and great building, but they were morally bankrupt. Why was they into incest? No polite, not for no damn economic reasons, because they was trying to keep that damn bloodline pure that they got from the fallen angels. They were demigods, and you couldn't even get the Book of the Dead unless you could afford it. So the people who couldn't afford it automatically just went to hell. You had to buy. They was the Catholic Church of that day and time, because you had to have money basically to pay for your sins, and you had to have monies and tokens to cross the bridge and all that shit in the afterlife. That's why the pharaohs got buried with their slaves. The pharaoh died. He killed his slaves and buried them with him and his gold. That's some wicked ass shit, man. You Kemetic people, you better turn around and go run to Jesus, goddammit. You some wicked ass black witches and warlocks. And I'm going to tell y'all that, but I had to just get that out. You invented the vortex, y'all. Make sure we got MIKHA'EL, Ben Israel in the house, you know what I'm saying? And make sure you hit that description box, man, and join Planet Vortex. This is just my opinion. If you're a Kemetic, don't get mad. You know what I'm saying? What it is, it's just a show. See, a lot of y'all get all emotional, too. That's why I still have Kemetic people come on the show. At the end of the show, I invite them to Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. But it's nothing personal. I'm just telling you, you're into a bunch of black magic. And you don't know what you're doing. You got Ankh over here sacrificing chickens, talking about he don't believe in God. He's a warlock. I keep telling y'all that. You don't believe in God. Why are you sacrificing chickens, man? Those are spirits. These people, some people do it out of ignorance. They don't know what they're doing. And I'm telling you, be careful of these trinkets you buy from these Kemetic people at these damn debates and shit. Because them ankhs and all that, and them bells and whistles and them crystals and shit, that shit's cursed. And you're going to take that shit home, and the demon's going to follow you all the way home. Fucking around with them cursed ass ankhs. That's a wicked ass symbol. That ain't no cross. That's a wicked. All that stuff is magic. And the real people know it. That's why the real people, you don't see them. You don't see them rolling around with these Kemetic black power guys, the high voodoo priests. And you don't see them because they busy somewhere living in a mansion serving the dark one. They ain't gonna come out and tell you ain't no spiritual world. They ain't gonna tell you that because they feeding them spirits. And I'm gonna tell you, y'all talk that white shit. It's them high priest voodoo motherfuckers who running that Illuminati. Like that movie you seen of Believers. Some high priest black ass dude that's controlling these demons, man. You know why? Because you was the first ones to do it. And who taught these other people about these African traditional witchcraft religions? You initiated them in it. And they took your shit and took it to a whole nother level on your ass. Them same ancestors you talking to are working for them now. Asked to them as sacrifices. The people you thought was your ancestors. You wonder where all these missing people are going? They sacrificing them to your so-called ancestors. That's how they get money and power. So, you know, I had to go on my rant, man. But MIKHA'EL ben Israel, man. We might have a call here. Give me a second. Hold on 1 second, bro. I got to get you on the speaker here. We got a caller. Give me 1 second while I get him on the speaker. Oh, they hung up. I think that was D-Red, but he hung up. But anyway, oh, here we go. Yeah, like I was saying, man, I want to thank you for coming out. I think we just had a caller, but I don't. Oh, here we go. What's up, D-Red? Talk to me.
Oh, man, what it do, baby?
Chilling, man. What's going on? We got MIKHA'EL ben Israel in the house. What's good?
Shalom, Mark.
Hey, shalom, Mark. What up, D-Red, man? How you been doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. I just heard you going in, man. I just want to I ain't really want nothing, I mean, I just want to let you know, man. Shit, I'm gonna be sliding through the shop, man. I'm about to fuck with you, man. I'm supposed to be up there hollering at my people, and I'm probably gonna slide through and holler at you, man. And yeah, man, good show, man. Shit, man. Shit, I'm just enjoying the show, man. Y'all going there, LEXX talking his demonic shit, and telling people that they need to turn to Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just listening to y'all, man. Y'all go in, man. But hey, man, hey, it's just a good show, man. I just want to tell y'all it's a good show. It's good that motherfucker brought that nigga MIKHA'EL on, man, because he disappeared for a minute. I don't know what the hell it was. It was hibernation. But it's good to see that nigga back, man. And I just want to show the nigga some love.
Hey, thanks, bro, man. Much love to you, D-Red. I see you building your little thing up over there too, man. And yeah, bro. That's LEXX come at it on a whole different angle, but some of what he was saying, I definitely know what he's talking about. All that Kemetic Egyptian, all that type of stuff, man. The Lord told us to separate from that. Like he said, you be ye holy because I am holy. I put a difference between the Egyptian, between you and the Egyptian, or my people Israel and the Egyptian. So I'm not even trying to, that's their thing, that's their thing. But I'm telling you, it ain't green the grass ain't green on the other side. And our people, it's at that time, man, you got to realize and wake up. Like you were saying earlier, they talk all this goddess stuff, though. My whole thing is, why you don't never see none of their goddesses on TV? Why they don't put them out there? Why they don't teach nothing? I don't see nothing but a bunch of hard legs teaching. You know what I'm saying? I don't see they goddesses or anything out there, quote unquote, as they call them, doing anything. It's like they preaching for booty. That's all they doing. They getting these sisters' heads, and they talk about drop that Bible, man. You ain't got to cover yourself up. You ain't got to submit to your man. You are a goddess. and then you don't hear nothing from the women no more. I guess they didn't ran through them or whatever they did. You know what I mean? And that's really unfortunate. You know, that's really, really, really unfortunate. They don't know that they're actually feeding into the original plan that they claim that they against, which was the Willie Lynch thing with them turning the male against the female. They are actually feeding into that notion. No, they feed into that stigma that is some type of war between a black man and a black woman, because the first thing they do is they slap that, they interject that already festering infection of feminism that we get in our communities. When you know, I know you study social history. You know, I deal with social science. You know what I'm saying? When that feminism thing came on the scene, it was just like I was talking about how the Egyptology, the Kemetic science thing came on the scene. That feminism thing came on the scene when people was trying to make a move and make some noise. It was confusion. And the sisters jumped right on board with it when it had absolutely nothing to do with our women. You know what I'm saying? It was basically a bunch of European lesbos, or, you know, that's really what it was. That's what the movement was about. But again, if the Most High is not involved, all of these things are going to fail. All of them gonna fail. That should be the underlining understanding of our people, is that look through our history. Every time we got a little proud and cocky and felt like we was doing something, we turned our back against the Most High God, and he said, you know what? Since you think you all that and a bag of diamonds, I'm gonna turn you over to these people, and let's see how you do serving them, since you don't like serving me. And you're gonna start crying back to me, and like he did, he come back and he get us out, and we do it again. We are the hard-headed, stiff-necked nation of people on earth. And even if you don't subscribe to that concept that I just said, you know something wrong. How is it that we the smartest people on earth? Look, if you go look up just the inventions that were invented by underprivileged, undereducated, and quote-unquote colored people, if you go look at the list of the things that we invented with less, it would not be nothing invented that wasn't invented if we ain't had nothing to do with it. So how do we do that with much less than the people who started this new world had? It's because it's a God-given talent that the Most High gave us. He said that we are the salt of the earth, meaning two things. Salt preserves. That's why we don't age so bad. But the main thing is salt gives a little flavor to everything. If you teach us how to play golf, we're going to play golf better than everybody else. If you teach us how to fix a car, we're going to wind up building a car from scratch. So there is no sensible reason why we should be on the bottom unless it was wholly spiritually constructed. You would think that would take common sense for people who claim to be so smart to know that it's something outside of ourselves that is dictating this whole thing. It's something that we are ignoring with all of this intelligence we get, with all these chakras we messing with all this energy that we get, with all of this supreme mother, father, God, goddess, all this stuff that they say, ain't none of it changed our condition. None of it. You talking about you astral projecting, but you can't even get out your community. How is you floating around the universe when you can't even get out the situation that you in? I mean, I hate to make them sound stupid, but I just like to make people look at themselves in the mirror before they try to talk about something else. And like what I've been saying for the last 7 to 8 years that we've been online doing this thing, if you want me to put my Bible up, away my Bible, then replace it with something better. And I guarantee you it'll never happen, because it ain't nothing out there better. There's not a book out there.
We got the Book of the Dead now. We got the Book of the Coming Forth by Day.
Look, it's called Dead. That's definitely what it is. It's dead. This is the living word. It's stuff that It's stuff that you could take out the Bible that you can actually still apply to society thousands of years later from when it was written, and it don't go out of style. It was people in the book of the man, they got stuff on the papyrus, you know that as well as I know. And certain Egyptian pyramid texts and stuff, they got some stuff on there that's pure insanity. Man, I mean, they thought that women could get pregnant through their mouth. I mean, it's all type of stuff, and it don't take away from them being a great people, but they wasn't really all that smart. When you go look, when they say they love, you know, they love to cherry pick the Bible when they can use it against us. They'll say, oh, it say Moses was learned in all the wisdom of Egypt. Yeah, but what they want, so they agree with that part. That's funny. But what they don't agree with, but you notice they won't read where just generations before him, generations, let me say that because it was a while before him, it was a dude named Joseph. Okay. Joseph. It say that he was second in command only under Pharaoh. So he literally ran Egypt. You think he didn't build schools and universities? So when it say Moses was learned in the knowledge and wisdom of Egypt, he was learned from the institutions that his ancestor Joseph built. Oh, so it was good when they used the Moses verse, but it ain't good when I use the Joseph analogy. So if you don't like the Bible, just give up the Bible. Just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't play with it. Because if you go playing with it and you think you wise in your own consent, I'm telling you that book gonna come back to chop your fingers off or burn you. So you need to just leave it alone and let us deal with it that's apt to deal with it. So that's what I say about all that folly, bro.
And this is for both of y'all. Me and Lex gonna do something where we gonna bust these evolutionaries and they go bust them in their goddamn head. We're gonna put the final death nail in this evolution debate. Me and Lex we cooking up something on that. But what do you think about the atheism that has crept into the black community, but under the guise of being African, when we know no African people ever subscribe to us, to evolution for one, and our people have always been the spiritual people. Even if you want to talk about the other Africans that may not have been of Hebraic descent. What do you think about? What do y'all think about the atheism that has creeped up in the so-called black community?
Let me tackle that, Lex, if you don't mind. Let me go first, please, because I've been wanting to say something about this, and I think you would share my sentiments on this. We agree on about 50% of stuff. I'm gonna say it flat out. I know everybody has free will, and they got their own. They got their own right to believe what they want to. Quite honest with you, if you look, I said this about 3-4 years ago, and we got a lot of people that can testify to me saying this first. I said this first, and I'm not somebody to boast, try to say, "Ooh, I started this originator." I just joke around with that. I do be starting stuff, but it don't matter to me, long as it's useful to somebody. But I've heard people repeat this notion since I said it. One day, the Lord has showed me while I was studying that there has never been, and I know Ankh, with all respect to my brother, if you listening, Ankh, peace to you. You know, we had our little squabbles in the day or whatever, to the point where I kind of started liking you. You's a funny dude, but you know a lot of that what you be kicking is some straight up hula hand. You basically doing it on the fly. And I'm telling y'all this, when you study the history of quote unquote African people, if you want to use that term, you know, black people, you will not find an ancient atheist civilization. They never existed. And I don't want to get into the plan with the semantics, atheos, the Greek theists. I'm talking about people that does not believe in a deity or deities. You are not going to find that in no ancient black culture. That is foreign to us. That is a European disease. That's exactly what it is. Whenever you get a time of people that's spiritual, especially the so-called Negro, the one that descended of the slaves, I mean, we spiritual in all our worst times. That's the one thing we never gave up, being a spiritual people. And the other nations even recognize that. You know, terms like soul food or I remember when my cousin was telling me when he was over in Korea, because he was in the military, that they call crows, the black bird, they call crows soul birds, you know, associating with black people. You know, they associate things like soul and spirit with our people because we are a spiritual people. And that testified to us being the chosen people. We just messed up and now our energy is misguided. So for black people to turn around, as jacked up as our condition is, and it ain't getting no better, to now all of a sudden give up the one thing that we've genetically always have, you know that's from the devil. That is pure foolishness. You ain't got to believe in the same God I believe in, Foz, personally. Hey, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? That's between you and the Most High. But for you not to believe in nothing as a black man or woman, that is like, that's historically unheard of. Well, go ahead, Lex.
Cat needs Jesus. That nigga is maybe 5% away from total demonic possession. Straight up, I'm gonna just keep it real. That dude is a dark warlock working magic on the community, leading people to spiritual death. We don't even got to get religious. Everybody knows the name Jesus means different things to different people depending on what they believe in. When I say he needs Jesus, even outside of the religious aspect, the brother needs some love in his heart, man. And he needs to understand that he's under spiritual influence. See, what happens is when you under serious demonic influence, in the story of Christ, it said, those with ears, let them hear. I always repeat that. Obviously, you got 2 ears, so why would he say something like that? That means there's another form of hearing. But when you get into that African traditional religious voodoo crap, you're messing around, even if you're not even aware of it, because he may think, oh, this is just some deep science or some shit. But he knows better than that. His hearing is blocked. The dude is spiritually deaf. And he doesn't know what he's doing. Well, I don't know. He could know. He might have just merged with the damn demon. But the brother is demonic, man. You see wherever he goes, that whole camp. That's why him and Sarnetta get along. They're from the same dark kingdom. Wherever that dude go, chaos follows. You ever notice? Put him up. If he calling this show right now, a fight's gonna break out. Right? If you take him over here, somebody's it's gonna get crazy.
I don't know. He always kind of jumped out the window here first when he seen me on the panel. Shots fired, shots fired. So I don't know.
Man, that dude is a demon. That whole crew, the Amara squad, is a demonic all boy, just like James says, a sorority all boy demonic corporation. Well, organization, study group, they call it. It's a coven. See, I'm showing y'all the spiritual truth. They say it's a study group. That's just like motherfuckers that make these organizations up and say, this is the Jimmy Fund. And then you're really using it just to, to get little kids. That is a coven, a witch coven. It's the Amara squad is a witch coven. Out here teaching people that we come from monkeys and atheists. Come on, y'all. That shit is not light. That shit is demonic as hell. Ain't no black people in the history of the fucking world up until the 19th century started even thinking about some shit like that. And it goes to his teachers who was on demonic influence. And y'all know who they are. Got turned up right now, so I'm going to respect some of them and respect the dead. They were demonic as hell. They hated the creator. I don't know what their problem was with this concept of a divine creator. No matter what religion or whatever, they all taught that. The Afrocentric movement is a CIA demonic satanic ass movement. It is, them dudes are agents. A lot of them came in to offset, even though Elijah Muhammad was demonic, but because of his movement, they in the Asiatic stuff that he was teaching, the CIA trained these Afrocentric and funded this Afrocentric movement to offset the Abrahamic faith movement, aka Elijah Muhammad, aka Hebrew Israelites, aka Christians. Because these are the people that was the movers and shakers. And for some reason, whether you believe in religion or not, this was motivating people to action. The religious, when people say you don't need no religion, but whenever you get somebody who's really real, just like a jihadist, you ain't gonna find no comedic nigga blowing himself up. See, that spirit and that religious thing moves people to serious action. So you had the Nation of Islam, and all these movements were based Abrahamic faith, so-called. Now, I differ with how they believe in it. You know what I'm saying? People know I don't mess with the Old Testament and what I feel about that. But I'm telling you that them Afrocentric people were CIA operatives. And make it so funny, I remember, I wish I could go find it. Ali Muhammad did a great show on Blog Talk one time when he was talking about, he'll prove that it was white people who started the Afrocentric movement. And he offered $10,000 for anyone who could prove him wrong. It was on a Blog Talk show. I'll never forget it. And he broke that whole thing down. And a lot of these cats, when they started that Afrocentric movement, when them white operatives started that Afrocentric movement, you'll be surprised who was on the board of them Africana studies and all of that. Them big names, you know, the major 3 big names, a lot of them cats was on that board. The Afrocentric movement had served a couple of purposes: to offset the church, Elijah Muhammad, the Hebrew Israelites, and to take away black people's indigenous knowledge of this land. They was trying to get you out of here and send your ass back to Africa somewhere with that crap and offset Elijah Muhammad. Why you think them Afrocentric leaders attacked Elijah Muhammad? But see, they really was all lost because Elijah Muhammad was a damn atheist pretty much. But he did have that religious overtone in terms of the Islam. But see, they didn't like the Islam because the Islam connected you to the Middle East with the other Muslims of the world. So they didn't want you to have a connection with no other people, so no one would come to your aid. So even when you talk about the Nation of Islam, they was demonic, teaching the white man's the devil, making up the story about Yaqub, but it was inspiring. But the main thing it did was connect you to other people in Asia. Because when you say the Asiatic black man, that's making a connection to other people where other people might say, wait a minute, that's our people. The same reason why they killed Malcolm X when he started talking about humanism and going to the United Nations, not for black crimes, but for crimes against humanity. See, the main thing they wanted to do to us is cut off connection to humanity so nobody else could ever say, ever have empathy for us. That's when Malcolm X really got killed, when he said he was going to the UN for human crime. That's why I keep telling y'all this is a human thing. As long as you keep that black shit up, that's a fucking curse. You ain't none of y'all black. I done see some dudes pretty black, but ain't none of y'all black. Black is a curse, man. I don't care what they say, what kind of science they try to make it so deep. Oh, it's the universe. No, it ain't. First of all, no, it ain't. Get out of here. Black is an adjective. Ain't nobody damn black. That's just my opinion. So they killed a couple of birds with that Afrocentric stone. Africans, them dudes don't get along themselves. So they try to make you believe that you are part of the African nations, and they ain't even a part of each other. They don't get down like that. That's what I'm saying. We're the only people who think like that. If you want to even get to the tribalism stuff, was just another tool of the devil. Because everybody on earth is a human. There's no such things as tribes and all that to me. At the end of the day, that's why it says all are one in the body of Christ. That's bringing you back to the original. You started falling off when you started getting split and divided, remember? So that Afrocentric stuff is garbage. It's garbage. It's not a downing Africa, how they try to make it. It's just it makes no sense. Because all of us don't come from Africa. Even if you want to say some of us came, you can't say there's black people all over the damn earth. Millions. What about the Indians? They're black. So you don't see them talking about Africa. So that African thing is a trick, man. It's a trick from the devil. And them African leaders and teachers, they're CIA operative. I'm convinced. I'm just telling, call me crazy. And I know I'll get a lot of slack for their CIA agents. And them people like the Amara Squad and the House of Consciousness, that spirit was passed on to them. Why you think they cause so much? You notice the Hebrew Israelites and the Moors argue, but they pretty much get along. Because they kind of on the same vibration. Even the Christians, they argue, but the church, like a lot of the Hebrews and the Moors come out the church. They all kind of got differences, but they all agree on one thing. There's a divine creator. Or they just argue about all the bullshit in the middle. But these Afrocentrics, these niggas come with the voodoo shit. The atheists, they just come and knock all the shit down. Fuck Allah, fuck Jesus, Yahweh, all that shit. We talking to the trees, nigga. Really? You niggas are some demonic ass CIA satanic ass operatives, man. And we sending that African shit back to Africa. Because ain't none of you going back to Africa. That's my thing, too. One time I was talking to Aunt. This dude was talking. I was like, well, why don't we start buying some land in Africa? Like when you do the Black Disempowerment Conference, $20 a head, like you did with the Kimmon on trial, made $1.5 million. If you loved Africa all that much, you know how much African land you could have bought with 1.5. You could have had a fucking city. You could have left America a long time ago and went back to the motherland. Nigga, you ain't going nowhere because America is good and plentiful right now. You take your ass to Africa and go get motherfucking some type of fucking porcupine disease. Your ass will run right back here quick. And I'm just telling you the real, man. I know people don't like to hear it, but that stuff is nonsense, and it's got our people in a spiritual bind. Go. They're emotionally attached to it. Ain't none of them going. They take trips. Oh, I've been to Africa. I seen the pyramids. Nigga, why you come back? When you went home. But they always come back. Oh, because yeah, we got to build and this and this and that. And nah, if it's so precious and it's so much love, like for now, like that's like if once you get home to like your real home, whether you live in a house or apartment or something, you like, yeah, shit. I don't even want to get up and go to work in the morning. You home. Fuck you coming back for? You don't want to go there. So it's all a propaganda. It's just nonsense, man. I just had to get that out. I got to turn it up for y'all here on Vortex Open Mic and piss some comedic guys off. But they won't. What they're going to do is just say, oh, that's rhetoric, that's pseudo, this or this and that. But I guarantee you ain't none of them planning their move to Africa. They ain't even start planning. Even me, one time I was planning on moving to Ghana. I wanted to see how it was. These dudes ain't even got a plan. They haven't even picked a spot. They ain't even said, you know what, we're going to make Ghana our second home or something. They ain't even began that process. If you loved it so much, you would at least start the conversation about going home. You talk to these dudes about going to Africa, they look at you like you crazy. Now all of a sudden you crazy. Dude, Ankh even told me one time, our ancestors died here in America now. Okay. So now your ancestors died here, so now you don't want to go back home. So if your ancestors died here, that means your ancestry is here now. So there's a lot of stuff going on, man. Just in my opinion, it's crazy. Y'all know I'm totally against that Afrocentric black shit. And the term black, I'm trying to let go myself. Black is the worst thing that ever happened to our people. I think saying that word alone is a curse. No, people would disagree. I think just all the connotations, I don't care how scientific you try to make it, motherfuckers wear black to funerals. And there's a reason why, because it's dark and gloomy and shit. And if you and everybody else on earth don't respect you because they know you allow yourself to be called black. And they know that shit sounds crazy to call. That's like, imagine having the people call orange. Hey, orange people. That's some childish, crazy shit. Well, orange is a part of the rainbow, and we emit the orange light, or some crazy shit like that. So yeah, man, I'm in my rant, and we're about to start winding it down. My bad, MIKHA'EL Israel. I'm gonna give you the last words. D Red, man, thanks for calling in, man. I don't know, is D Red still on the line? Yeah, man, I'm about to shut it down soon. I'm gonna let MIKHA'EL get the last words. You want to say peace, anything before you roll out?
Yeah, I want to just say, man, everybody, man, let's go dropping the sciences, man, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and for the boy BK that's in the chat, man, I used to kick the boys' ass, man. You know what I'm saying? I got kicked out of all that group stuff. We used to smash it on the Evolution, smash it on the Kennys. Them boys ain't undefeated in nothing. Not to mention, not to Zarya actually beat the shit out of you thinking them dudes are undefeated, and they got their ass in there. Not to even mention how LEXX beat the hell up out of Ngozi on the Evolution. So them boys ain't undefeated, man. Them boys is dumpster juice. They not even trash. They the juice at the bottom of the trash when it comes to information. The boys are dumpster juice, man. So it is what it is. I'm out.
All right, man. Thanks, D Red. And let me just say this for the record. I'm only saying all of this just in terms of the conversation we're having, but everyone I know believe there's really no difference between people in my eyes. And what the world needs now is just a little bit more love for each other. But I'm gonna let get the last words to my man MIKHA'EL Ben Israel, our special guest, and we want to thank you for coming out. Go ahead and take us home, brother, and with any last words you got to say before we end the show, or any plugs you want to put in.
Okay, yeah. Can you hear me clear?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, man. I like to say first and foremost, man. I thank you, brother. I thank you for even thinking about me to reach out to me and bring me on your show. I hope that I was able to shed some kind of light to somebody that was listening who may understand my perspective or how what I think the answer to our problem is, which I know scripturally teaches me what the answer to our problem is as a people. And to those who do not share my subscription to the Most High in the Bible and us being Israelite, maybe I said enough to make you consider that there's more things out there that you may not know, or the things that you thought you knew, maybe you don't know. So maybe you should give it a chance, because I mean, it really can't hurt. It ain't nothing else been working. And I like to say that. I like to also give a shout out to the brother D Ray for calling in, giving D Ray for giving love. Of course, thank you, LEXX. You know, we got a long history. We done been into it all the way to the end of Black Radio days, and when I was on the knowledge, what was that? Do the knowledge, Ray. We'd been all over the place. We've been into it. We've been cool and all that. But when you said that you turning a new leaf, and your biggest goal is to get people from all different mindsets who people listen to, and bring them on your show. Of course, they may not see it the way you see it. Me and you have two different perspectives, but our goal is sounds the same, and that is we got to change something, man. We got to get this right, because this ain't working. What we've been doing, it ain't working. So I definitely humble myself, and I appreciate you and thank you for that. And when you learn to stop cussing so much, I might bring you on my Walls of Jericho show. Matter of fact, my hand will be open for you to do something. You just gonna have to try to clean it up for that show, because I got like old ladies and kids and stuff that be listening. But I would definitely like to bring your perspective on certain things, because I know with certain stuff, you know what I'm talking about, that you can get deep on. And I just like to say, so to everybody listening, if you want to support, like I say, the Walls of Jericho, probably about the third week, no later, of next month, I should be launching. I have a beautiful cast. Shout out to my people in the UK. You know who you are. I love you. They helped me put this thing together. To my brothers that's part of the Walls of Jericho team. James Cassell, one of my War Machine brothers. Cassius Israel, my brother Ron Jones, you know, my auntie and nutritionist, Medina Nance, you know, all these people, I like to give them love. And to everybody who's always been there for me and for our people, I get them love. So y'all can look me up, of course, on Facebook, MIKHA'EL, Ben Yesharon, Ben Yisrael. I mean, Ben Yesharon, Yisrael. So that's MIKHA'EL, Ben Yesharon, Yisrael, with Wise. And you can also, of course, you can email me at MikeWard32212 at Gmail, and also Jericho12 at Yahoo.com. So yeah, man, you know, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I hope that I was able to, like I say, I hope I was able to just shine some light on somebody. And with that, I'd like to say grace and peace to everybody. All praise to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, Jesus Christ, our Mashiach, and the high priest. And grace and peace. Hebrews in his peace. Shalom.
All right, peace, brother. And I just want to say, man, everyone knows I have some radical views, whether you agree or not. But I do want to make it a platform for anybody to come on and express their views, even though I may disagree with you. Comedic people are still welcome to come on. I don't want to make it look like I was saying every person in the comedic science is, you know, the devil, so to say. I'm just saying, you know, what I see about Egypt. That's just my view and opinion. It doesn't mean you can't come on the show. It doesn't mean you have to be offended. You think Jesus is a spook. You know what I'm saying? You think the New Testament was written by the Pisos family or something, you know, and that Jesus is wicked, you know what I'm saying? So you got to respect people's opinions. But unlike other platforms, I'll allow people to come on here. I invite them to come disagree with me or whatever. Like I said, people know how I criticize the Hebrew Israelite teachings, but there's a Hebrew Israelite on the show now, and there's some people who will vibrate with what he says, some people who don't. But it's an open forum. You know what I'm saying, I'm building. So I want to thank y'all for coming out. Remember to hit that description box. Join Planet Vortex, the social networking site. There's a link in the description box. Download the new album. It's available for digital download, Cold Blooded, Pre-Salvation. Check it out. And also there's a GoFundMe because we're developing the Black Amber Alert app, for lack of a better name right now, where you'll be able to send out an alert for your own missing children, or you'll be able to track your child's cell phone and locate them, and they'll also be able to send you a message if they're in trouble. Also, check out Planet Vortex on Facebook and Vortex Television on Facebook, and our other YouTube channel is Vortex Unplugged. As y'all know, I always say, in my pain, and perception determines your reality. You have entered the vortex, and once you do, there's no return. Peace, blessings, and prosperity to all.